The China deal is finalized and the Orange Man came out on top. We got a bit of a leak into all of the various ways China tried to trick Trump into getting mogged. However, unfortunately, it really kind of went the other way around. Man, they really backfired heavily on those guys. It looks like the Iran war is back on the table now that China has our back. Well, this is crazy. Every single person that actually backstabbed Trump lost their primary elections so far. It's been an absolute sweep, radicalizing the youth, voting people in that are actual mad lads instead of these complete losers. The country is going in the right direction, and speaking of, the United Kingdom had a multi-million person rallying against the government importing infinite Islamoids, and Keir Starmer is stepping down. It's official. Hassan Piker is getting obliterated. Ben Shapiro drama's insane. Tyler Oliveira was banned from Israel. There is so much going on, and we need to talk about all of it. So here's today's deep dive, a deep dive on all of the things that are happening. Very excited to cover them. Definitely subscribe. If you hurt Americans or are planning to hurt Americans, we will find you and we will kill you, says President Donald J. Trump. This immediately made every single Islamist and transgender terrified to be in their own house. The Donald released an insane tweet, and for some reason this is getting almost zero media coverage, despite the fact that this tweet has 160,000 likes and it's one of the biggest things that ever happened. Tonight at my direction, brave American forces in the armed forces of Nigeria flawlessly executed a meticulously planned and very complex mission to eliminate the most active terrorist in the world from the battlefield, Abu Bilal al-Minuki, sounds like a straight white Christian male to me, second in command of ISIS globally, thought he could hide in Africa. But little did he know, we had sources who kept us informed on what he was doing. Also, he has Ebola. Also, he's gay. He will no longer terrorize the people of Africa or help to plan operations to target Americans. With his removal, ISIS's global operation has greatly diminished. Thank you to the government of Nigeria for your partnership on this operation. God bless America. President Donald J. Trump. Every single so-called Christian influencer that's out there saying that Trump betrayed America because he's killing terrorists that are killing Christians is so full of it, it's insane. There is an insane psyop going on right now in America to divide Christians. I don't know, maybe I see it because I'm kind of slightly removed from that whole thing, but it's so obvious from where I stand that this is going on. My hyper-nuanced stance is, ideally, in an ideal world, we would be focusing on God, family, and our nation instead of Infinity War neocons and Islamic cocksuckers, all right? Listen, I'm just being upfront here, guys. This is freaking awesome, all right? I'm super, super happy that Donald Trump decided to obliterate that motherfucker. That's awesome. Look, I'm paying taxes. Most of the tax dollars that I am paying are not going to places where I want them to go. It goes to abortions. It goes to healthcare, welfare, bullshit for illegal aliens. And people that refuse to get jobs. It goes to every institution on the freaking planet that is teaching children to become jihadis and castrate themselves while they're doing it. I mean, hey, glass half full, am I right? So if my tax dollars could go to eliminate the head honcho terrorist that's genociding Christians in Nigeria, that is a colossal W. And the fact that the Tucker Carlsons of the world aren't talking about this is absolutely evidence that they're compromised. Now, President Trump, I was the calm before the storm, he says. And then he shared this, an image of a Nigerian pastor speaking out for, because they were getting genocided.
Look at it today. Is there any Muslim here?
This is a pile of Christian corpses that were massacred by Muslims in Nigeria.
United Nations, I know you're watching it. American Senate, you are watching what I'm doing, I'm saying here. Special advisor to Trump, now, please tell Trump to save our life in Nigeria. They are killing Christians in Nigeria, massacre Christians. If they say they kill Muslims, Muslims are being killed. By who? By Muslims.
It's just a straight fact, by the way. Never forget the human rights advocates like Mehdi Hassan saying that there is no Christian genocide in Nigeria by any definition, as he screams about the pretendicide that's happening in Gaza every single day. And this is the guy who, by the way, says all of his relatives are now in love with Tucker Carlson. That's so weird. Yeah, is it really so weird? Pay attention to the op in front of your eyes. Like, this is insane. Now, China says it will buy more U.S. oil because obviously we've, a lot of people don't understand the geopolitics. I see a lot of people coping, making believe that we're in an Iran war for Israel or something like that, as if the American government has zero agency of our own. The reality is really simple. We topple Venezuela, we take their oil. We topple Iran, we cuck their oil. China needs oil, and it buys it from us. Not only are we eliminating narco-terrorist threats in our hemisphere in Venezuela, and actual Islamic terror threats in Iran that have, by the way, attacked our troops 350 times over the last 30 months, tried to assassinate the president multiple times, and also is trying to build nuclear weapons to kill us, all right? But also, we shut down that oil, and now all of a sudden, China is our best friend. China, please, Mr. Donald, may I rick your bar sack, please? So it's a rough day for those guys. Now, they've been trying so hard to mog the Donald. It's been brutal. So as you can see, all right, Donald Trump over here sitting on his chair and Xi Jinping sitting on his chair. They gave like triple the amount of cushion to his fucking couch thing so that he could look taller than Donald. So they did everything in their power, everything, to try to make Trump feel small. And then China immediately folded on literally fucking everything. Literally everything. They're buying like hundreds of planes. They're buying tons of our oil. We are the #1 Chinese oil givers right now. Colossal W's everywhere. A lot of people are asking the question, by the way, if we're now exporting all this oil to China and we got all this oil from Venezuela, why are gas prices high? And those people don't understand politics at all. You should slap them just for saying that. Metaphorically, I'm not calling for violence here. I know some leftist is gonna now try to get me killed because I'm inciting violence or some shit. The reality is very simple. Well, yeah, the leftists will try to get me killed anyway, regardless. But also, what I'm trying to say is, these people don't understand what speculative markets are. Almost all markets' ups and downs are based on speculation. There is some sort of speculation by the experts that all thought Kamala Harris was going to win the presidential election in 2024. All those experts thought that oil was going to go up because we're bombing Iran. So a lot of the speculative markets is making gas prices increase to almost as high as it was during average day under Biden. Understand where we're at. The U.S. and China have agreed to lower tariffs on some unspecified products to promote bilateral trade, per China's Commerce Ministry. The statement confirmed China's plan to purchase U.S. planes and said China would address the U.S. concerns on agricultural imports. You know what this means? This means that the stock market is going to hit an all-time high on Monday. Pay attention, boys and girls. The Jew is calling it, all right? So listen, I could be wrong, but I'm probably not. So Trump on Taiwan. The Chinese don't want to see this place. We'll call it a place because no one knows how to define it, but they don't want to see it go independent. I'd like to see everyone making chips in Taiwan come over to us in America. I'm not looking to have someone go independent. And you know, we are supposed to travel 9,500 miles to fight a war. I'm not looking for that. When you look at the odds, China's a very, very powerful and a big country, and that's a very small island. Think of it. It's 59 miles away. We're 9,500 miles away. That's a little bit of a difficult problem. If you look at the history, Taiwan is developed because we had presidents that didn't know what the hell they're doing. They stole our chip industry. This is the most America first president we've ever had, and it's really not even close. Now, one of the reasons why I am banned in China is because I actually do support Taiwan sovereignty, because China is a mongoloid, genocidal, tyrannical communist state, and fuck them. And also, Hassan Piker supports China, which means they're probably just straight evil. So, but anyway, the Donard recognizes the fact that we cannot have another Strait of Hormuz situation. We can't have something that's pivotal to our economy being within firing range of ultimately our adversary. So this is a very America first stance. Move the chip manufacturing to America. We'll still maintain the same defense agreement with Taiwan. However, we don't need our chips to be at risk. And I think that's a pretty good stance. Now, the craziest update is, of all, one of the things that was pushing gas prices to go up throughout all of Europe mostly, but also here in America, was climate change. Climate change has been the ultimate hoax. It's been unbelievable how much money these fuckwads made off the climate change grift, but it's over. The left is literally an entire little microcosm of people that fucking are at war with reality every single day. Men and women are the same. Genitalia don't prove sex, but cut off your genitals to affirm your sex. Islam is the religion of peace, yada yada. Good riddance. After 15 years, Democrats promising that climate change is going to destroy the planet. The United Nations Top Climate Committee just admitted that its own projections, RCP 8.5, were wrong. For far too long, climate activism has been used by Democrats to scare Americans, push horrible energy policies, and fund billions into their bogus research programs, which they made billions off of, let's be real. Unlike the Democrats use climate alarmism nonsense to push their Green New scam, my administration will always be based on truth, science, and fact. President Donald J. Trump, just so based. Just so fucking awesome that this is happening. Now, update on the war. Trump decided within the next 24 hours on major military action against Iran, with Israel receiving the final answer in the same window, because Israel works for us. A lot of people don't understand geopolitics, and they're like, oh my god, a Jew in America? Holy shit, parasite nation. The Jews, they're living in the tunnels and controlling our country. Well, the reality is we control Israel, and only complete retards that are illiterate when it comes to geopolitics don't see that. The major reason why we fund Israel, which I'm against, by the way, I don't want to be funding any foreign nation whatsoever, is because we get to control them. We get to tell them exactly what we want them to do whenever we want them to do it. We tell them to stop wars, they stop wars. We tell them to attack, they attack. Ultimately, that is what we're buying, along with technology and stuff like that. Again, I don't want to be funding any foreign nation. To be clear, that's my stance. But Trump doesn't see it that way. Anyway, terror commander worked through new Iran-backed terror group to kill Trump. This is an actual third assassination attempt on Donald Trump from the Iranian regime, which we're supposed to just make believe are actually just super good guys that never would harm a flea, all right, according to the leftoids. But the crazy update is we are preparing for another round of strikes. We crippled them. We crippled Venezuela. We got China basically to purchase our oil. They are no longer backing Iran. They're completely and utterly contingent on us. And the craziest part is, we're talking about Taiwan. They're not invading Taiwan if they need oil from us. And we could just say, actually, fuck you, no more oil. And then they'll stop. So the reality is they have their hands tied and they know it.
The New York Times is reporting our military is preparing for another round of attacks, this time more aggressive. The attacks can come as early as
The gay Ayatollah knows a thing or two about getting impaled.
Monday. Additional Iranian military targets are on the table. That includes infrastructure.
Donald Trump just finished on Iran.
The president's still reportedly considering a special operations raid to pull out the nuclear dust.
Ooh,
and possibly a ground assault on Karg Island.
That'd be crazy. Oh my god, that would be insane. Dude, I pray for our troops because it's dangerous, but that would be unbelievable. We get their nuclear dust. Dude, if we take Karg Island, this is the most America First war in the history of the world. But Nux, are you just saying it for oil? And what if we end up getting tons of oil out of it? For those of you unaware, Karg Island is responsible for 90% of Iran's oil. If we take Karg Island, we could just let Iran strangle itself until the Iranian Revolution actually overthrows their Islamic captors that have been conquering them and torturing them for the last 47 years. That would be fucking insane.
We hit Karg Island, everything but the oil. We left that one little thing. I say, stay 50 yards away. And I said to General Raisin Kane, I said, General, how long will it take? He said, 4 or 5 minutes. I said, no, seriously, how long? I figured he'd say a day or 2 days, a week. He said, no, only 4 or 5 minutes. They wiped out the whole island.
That's my goat.
Except they left the nozzle, you know.
You see, the thing is, they're not mad that a lot of people are dying. They're mad that we're winning. A lot of leftoids use the argument about asymmetric warfare. They say if the warfare is not a fair fight, if the warfare is asymmetric, if one fighting force is way more powerful than the other fighting force, it means it's not fair. Joe Rogan even said this yesterday, by the way. He was like, yeah, but a civil war in Syria is like, they're both relatively equally strong, but Israel versus Gaza, Israel is a lot stronger. I'm sorry, we don't measure morality on how effective we are at obliterating our enemies. All right, just to be clear, I'm happy that we're a lot stronger than Iran, and I am really happy that we're able to kill the fuck out of those terrorist pedophiles without them killing us back. Like, this is the most cucked, left-minded bullshit I've ever seen in my life. This is ultimate feminism, okay? DEI, we need to, like, get retards in our military to even out the playing field. Sorry, no, we need a win.
And that's when the oil comes out, just in case.
The United States has used the ceasefire to rearm our warships and attack planes. We have more than 50,000 troops, 2 aircraft carriers, dozens of destroyers, and scores of warplanes on standby. This includes 5,000 Marines and 2,000 paratroopers from the 82nd.
Oh, shit.
Bridge and Power Plant Day could be next week.
Oh,
Did
shit.
you underestimate the pain tolerance that Iran has?
I didn't underestimate anything. We hit them unbelievably hard.
I'm just really good at things.
Look, we left their bridges. We left their electricity capacity.
Right.
We can knock that all out in 2 days.
Every single person in Iran that is currently living and breathing, we did them a favor personally.
2 days, everything.
We didn't have to do that.
Even with all the firepower, back home, the press still thinks we're losing.
You should be ashamed of yourself. I actually think it's treason. When you write like they're doing well militarily and they have no Navy, no Air Force, no anti-anything. By the way, we knocked out 85% of their manufacturing for missiles. I had a total military victory. But the fake news, guys like you, write incorrectly. You're a fake guy. And guys like you, I actually think it's sort of treasonous what you write. But you and the New York Times and CNN, I would say, are the worst.
We're winning the war, but the Iranians are very slippery. They like to stall and play games. But in the end, they don't have a lot of options. Make a deal or good night. Trump wants to wrap this thing.
They have two options. Option one, they kiss the ring. They completely and utterly fold. They kiss the ring and they disappear in humiliation. Option two, they die. Those are the two options. I hope they make the right choice.
Nope, just like everybody else.
Man, I am so tired of this new world order ideology of liberalism, like this hyper-feminized worldview, this neo-Marxist garbage that actually winning wars is bad. But I am telling you, we are dealing with the gayest fucking people on planet Earth. All right, winning wars is awesome. Winning wars is what you're supposed to do. I'm not advocating for starting wars, but once the war starts, I want to win. Well, what are we even doing here? And not only do I want to win, I want to win overwhelmingly. I want to overwhelmingly dominate and obliterate our enemy. I'm so tired of this absolute dog shit political talking point that, well, the 2,000 Iranians died and only 5 Americans died. It's not fair. Well, thank God we didn't lose 2,000 people. Excuse me, what? And this is literally the talking points that we see all the time, and everyone runs with this garbage.
It's over, though, right?
Yeah, look, Vietnam lasted 19 years. Iraq was like 10 years. Korea was 7 years. Another one was 14 years. Another one was 12 years. Another one was 9 years. We're in there for 2.5 months.
He's just right. He's just objectively correct. All the coping and screaming is a massive psyop perpetrated by leftoids, Islamoids, and honestly backstabbing people on the right that are, and some, I guess, Israel first people that think that Israel is the #1 problem with everything wrong on the planet. Like these complete fucking retards that are more than happy to stab our country in the back and in the heart just because to own the Jews or something. Like, to understand, one of their major arch nemesis is this guy, Randy Fine. Okay, Randy Fine is a congressman in Florida. I think he's the one religious Jewish congressman in the entire country. He's fucking great. Like, I don't know, man. His foreign policy's shit, but I don't care about his foreign policy because he is a domestic congressman.
A lot of these people hide it. I think one of the things that's extraordinary is we don't even know who the dual citizens are. So we know, for example, in the case of Ilhan Omar, she was born a citizen of Somalia. Unless she chose to give it up, she's still a citizen of Somalia. And certainly the way that she acts and all of the people she helped defraud this country in Minnesota in order to help Somalia would suggest it. Many of her public remarks say she's Somalia first. We don't know. But this would say, again, someone like Ilhan Omar, assuming she's still a citizen of Somalia, would have to give it up. You're either American or Somalian.
That's right.
Look, we don't want foreigners serving in Congress.
Yes.
I don't want French citizens serving in Congress. I don't want Armenian citizens serving in Congress. I don't want Israeli citizens serving in Congress.
Yes,
the only
exactly.
people who should be serving in Congress are American citizens. A lot of these people.
Like, am I supposed to hate this guy? This is fucking awesome. Patriot. All right, Representative Randy Fine says New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani does not belong in America. Patriot, am I right? Like, what are we doing here? Are we serious? Are we willing to let our world, our country, get absolutely bereaved and thronged with third worlders and retards because the fat Jew is in Congress? I'm sorry, man. Now, just to understand the stranglehold that our movement actually does have on the country, incumbent Senator Bill Cassidy will lose the Louisiana Republican primary. He becomes the first elected senator since Richard Lugar in 2012 to lose his seat in a primary. And you know why? Because he hates Trump. That's right. Cassidy voted to convict Donald Trump following his 2021 impeachment trial, and now he's gone. Congressional Republicans who voted to impeach Trump Remaining 3, no longer in Congress, 14. Complete and utter orange domination. It's over, bro. Come into my big orange hands, Bubba. I will give you a hug, and I will squeeze your life out. Every single person that's gonna be a backstabbing bitch that fucking hates our country, because yes, that's what giving Democrats power means. If you want to give the Democrats power, it means you hate our country. All right, there is no other perspective here. These guys are openly saying they want to pack the Supreme Court, make Puerto Rico and DC states, and just forever win elections with illegal aliens that get amnesty. All right? Sorry, bro. Sorry, bro. And this is what our country needs to do, by the way. We need to hold our politicians accountable because they work for us. And every single time they're a backstabbing anti-American bitch, they lose. And they will be terrified, and they will stay in line, and we will get radical motherfuckers that will push our country into the true golden age. All right, just in, Trump calls Thomas Massie a disloyal, ungracious, unsanctimonious fool. All right, so Thomas Massie is currently, on Tuesday, he has his primary against Ed Galrain. Word is Rand Paul and Loa Boebert, two very difficult, highly unreasonable Republican votes, are right in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, which I won by 31 points, parading around like fools for the worst Republican congressman in the history of our country, our party. His name is Thomas Massie. He is disloyal, ungracious, and a sanctimonious fool who almost never votes for even the best Republican values. The man running against Massie, Ed Galrain, is a true American patriot, a farmer from Kentucky, a military hero. He is loyal and MAGA all the way. Vote for Ed Galrain. Wipe away the stench of one of the worst congressmen in the history of our great party, Thomas Massie. May we never have to deal with him again. President Donald J. Trump. Now, Thomas Massie is an unbelievably popular figure. And Ed Galrain kind of came out of nowhere just with the Trump endorsement. And it's neck at neck. In fact, it looks like Ed Galrain is leading in the polls right now. Trump doesn't stop. He keeps posting images of Thomas Massie hanging out with different women. What's going on there? What's happening here? So one of Thomas Massie's ex-women, basically accused him of all sorts of disgusting shit, like silencing her with thousands of dollars, firing her, extorting her, allegedly. Given the community notes, so originally this Laura Loomer character, who I find a little bit retarded, not gonna lie, made this gigantic post about how Randy Fine says that he was approached by Cynthia West, Thomas Massie's accuser, last year in Florida about Thomas Massie, with alleged financial ties to Iran. Representative Randy Fine revealed to me that he met Thomas Massie's ex-girlfriend, etc., yada, yada, long thing. There was a community note here that said that that's unconfirmed, and bro just came out and confirmed it. And he was like, no, actually, that's just true. Actually, that is confirmed. Given the community notes on this post, I'm publicly confirming that, yes, that did happen. That this guy actually did allegedly get funds from Iran. Now, if you look at Thomas Massie's top donors, now, honestly, if you've been paying attention, this shouldn't surprise you. If you look at the top donors to Thomas Massie's campaign, based Republican, am I right? They're all Muslims. Marouk Zaid, Marouk Sam, Marouk Rani, Marouk Muhammad, Marouk Rania, Marouk Zaid. These guys are his top donors, each of them donating $7,000 at a time. Pretty funny number, honestly. And that's basically what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at who's propping this guy up. I wonder what his values actually are. Terrible news for Thomas Massie, by the way. Iran announced that the Strait of Hormuz is open to all ships. Just absolutely horrifying news for Thomas Massie. Now, Ro Khanna, third worldist slime, by the way, all right, says Thomas Massie is a man of character. He's the type of congressman our founders envisioned. Oh, sure, our founders, Ro Khanna. All right, I hope his constituents will see his courage, independence, sincere love. Right, so, and a quote from the New York Times. So you have the New York Times and the most third world of congressmen supporting Thomas Massie to be a Republican. Why? Weird. Stephen Miller says Khanna is most well known for two things: supporting the third world resettlement in the U.S. and supporting Thomas Massie. Make of that what you will. So this guy, John Doyle, dropped a 2-minute bomb going through every single time Thomas Massie voted against Republican interests.
Oh, you think Thomas Massie should actually vote for ICE funding? You freaking Shabbos Goy Jew cuck. Go kiss the wall. Thomas Massie doesn't take money from...
Like, you don't understand. There is an entire movement that's like, oh, he took money from AIPAC. We got to get rid of it. He does. He's anti-Israel. Bam, get him in. I don't care if he votes to flood our country with infinite Mohammeds. That shit's cool.
Freaking AIPAC, so he's based. That's all cool. That's freaking sick, dude.
Sick,
Those factors do not suddenly absolve.
For the record, I'm against all foreign lobbying in general. I'm just saying that just because you're like, I'm based, and I don't kiss the wall. Anyway, let's let in 1,000 billion Mohammeds into our country.
Him for being on literally every other issue.
Yes.
This leads into my most important criticism of Thomas Massie. He is literally an open borders globalist. Bold claim. Thomas Massie is, at his core,
He also stirred up the Epstein hysteria, making believe Trump's a pedophile.
a libertarian. That is his ideology. That informs every decision he makes. Libertarians support open border. You'll hear all sorts of libertarians talk about their own little variation of libertarianism that doesn't support open borders. Libertarians do not believe that the state should be able to regulate the movement of people. They believe borders are these ambiguous constructs. No human is illegal. This is a fundamental belief that libertarians and Thomas Massie share with the radical left.
That's
in
right.
2019.
There's a reason why Thomas Massie and Ilhan Omar worked together to take down Trump. Sorry, this isn't the based Giga Chad that I want in our fucking party whatsoever.
Thomas Massie voted to end.
Look, man, I'm not a big fan of the GOP. I'm not a big fan of the Republican Party as it is, but I am a big fan of molding it into the Republican Party of my dreams, which is a far-right nationalist movement that's pro-America. Sorry, bro.
Emergency funding for President Trump's border wall. Last year, Thomas Massie voted against.
Voted against the border wall, bro. Oh my God. And then they're like, oh, the reason why Donald Trump doesn't like him is because of the Epstein files. Get the fuck out of here, bro. This guy sucks.
The one big beautiful bill which secured the greatest increase in funding for ICE and mass deportations. It also allocated funds for the border wall, which currently is being built at record pace. Thomas Massie opposes E-Verify. He believes that companies should not be required to confirm the citizenship and work eligibility of potential hires.
Are you serious?
Thomas Massie voted against additional funding for ICE and DHS earlier this year.
In my opinion, when I saw that, I was off the Massie train. I'm not gonna lie. I already didn't like the guy from like a lot of his weird like backstabby things. Be like, oh, I just want justice for the victims, which is why I'm calling Trump a pedophile. I'm like, all right, whatever. Obviously, the way the Trump administration handled the Epstein shit was bungled tremendously. But when I saw he refused to fund ICE and DHS, I was like, this guy is scum. Get him out, bro.
HR 7147. He has co-sponsored bills to increase visa caps and legal immigration.
Bro,
just 2 months
get
ago,
him
in
out!
March, he voted in favor of an amendment that would require ICE to obtain warrants before conducting deportations, which would just bureaucratize the entire process and effectively neuter ICE altogether, which is of course the point, which is why the left likes that too. Thomas Massie is an open borders globalist. If it walks like a duck, looks like a duck, passes bills like a duck, it's a duck, dude. You don't realize that mass migration is the most important issue specifically because it impacts every other issue that you may be concerned about. You do not deserve to represent Republican voters in Washington, D.C. You are looking out for big corporations, their desire for cheap labor. That is why billionaires finance you. If you want to make America great again, make sure Thomas Massie loses this election. Oh,
damn, bro. Bro, you go up against the orange man, you end up completely shattered. Don't vote for a third world open borders globalist cuck just because he didn't kiss the wall. That's the psyop, and so many decent people are falling for it. We, in America, have no interest in being polite and orderly caretakers of the West's managed decline. Marcus Rubius, first of his name, 48th President of the United States of America. And now, speaking of the West's managed decline, we gotta talk about England. All right, to all the Democrats who think Trump is a dictator, let me introduce you to an actual dictator. This is Queer Stalin. He is the Prime Minister of England for now, but not for very long, because he is stepping down. So, yesterday, there was a massive, massive rally where people basically stood up to fight for England, because England is being ravaged by third world orcs. Ravaging and raping hobbits by the handful. And the government is literally designed and put defenses in place to make sure the orcs can keep raping. This is just so sad. It's so fucking sad. So anyway, look at bro getting eviscerated here. So first, he's like, well, we're not going to close the border to illegal rapists, but we are going to close the border to Americans that want to voice their opinions on how we're getting raped by orcs.
Tomorrow's march in London is a reminder of what we're up against in the battle of our values.
That's right. The values of making sure the little white girls get raped. Now, that is an important value for Queer Stalin, and he is going to make sure that that lasts as long as it can.
The organisers, including convicted thugs and racists, are peddling hatred and division.
Hot take, racists are way better than rapists. Sorry, bro. If I have to choose between the two sides, I'm going to pick the racist every time.
Plain and simple. Their goal is to convince people that Britain's problems are caused by those living alongside them.
True! They are. True. Very true.
But that is not...
Those alongside them specifically being third world rapists, by the way. Let's just understand who this brother is defending.
The Britain that I know.
Not the Britain
This
I
is
know.
a country built on decency, fairness...
That's
and
right. We have to make sure every rapist has the right to rape. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. If we don't let the rapists rape, how are we better than them?
respect. A country that is at its best when people from different backgrounds come together in common purpose.
It's at its best when there's an Islamic terror attack once a week. Now, the reason is simple. Who are we to stop Islamic terror attacks when that's their culture? All cultures are equal.
This is our country, with a majority who share
Our country, says Kami Mommy over here.
those values. A majority who may not always be as loud, but must always define who we are.
You just lost your election,
So,
bro.
My government will not stand in the way of peaceful protest, but we will act decisively against hatred.
Wow.
We will
Whatever
use
that
the
means.
full force of the law when that hatred manifests as violence. And we will ban those coming into the UK
There it is.
who seek to stir it up,
There it is.
as we have done already.
We will ban people for being anti-rape, but we will not ban the rapists. So obviously this did not go over very well at all. He got flamed for this. And in fact, little foreshadowing for a little bit later, Keir Starmer has announced he is standing down as Prime Minister. And we will get to that a little bit later because first I have to show you what had that happen. So this is just a nice visual of British police on the way to make sure the 12-year-old rape victim isn't Islamophobic. Very important for you to understand the priorities of this government. So let's just lay the groundwork here. All right, the UK free speech crackdown sees up to 30 people a day arrested for petty offenses such as retweets and cartoons. That's right. If you retweet something Islamophobic, you might be going to jail in England, and they're arresting 30 people a day. UK is a prison island. Elon Musk gets involved. More people are arrested for speech offenses in the UK than any other country. All right, this is supposed to be someone that shares our values. Get out of here, bro. All right, so then Elon Musk also retweeted this tweet from Gavin McInnes. One of the reasons why the elites ignore the Muslim grooming gangs is they simply can't handle the levels of horror these attacks reach, such as nailing a girl's tongue to a block of wood while she's raped, having them dig their own graves, drenching them in gasoline, branding girls' asses with M for Mohammed, raping girls under the Pakistani flag. The list goes on. It's much easier to assume we're lying and the problem isn't real. And this got retweeted by Elon Musk. So the libtards are out here being like, whoa, is Elon Musk retweeting right-wing racist propaganda? This tweet with its extreme claims caught the attention because Elon Musk reposted it. I asked Gemini if these claims are accurate. It assured me they're not. I then asked Grok, which replied that the first four are in fact accurate, and it provided details and sources supporting its response. So I went back to Gemini, copy and pasted Grok's reply into a prompt, and asked Gemini what it thought about what Grok just told me. Gemini's response was, I stand corrected. I apologize for my previous response. I attempted to separate the fact from social media exaggeration, but failed to properly verify the depth of the horrific testimonies from the actual trials. Like Operation Bullfinch or other inquiries, the details you said from Grok accurately reflect the devastating and brutal reality of what these victims endured. So just understand how deep the PSYOP is going. Elon Musk retweets these horrible things that happen. This guy's like, that can't be real. That's just too brutal. He puts it into Gemini, you know, Google's AI. Google's AI is like, no, that's not true. That's Islamophobia. Asks Grok. Grok provides sources and evidence for how every single one of them is true. He puts it back into Gemini, and Gemini's like, oops, my bad. Oopsie poopsie. Elon Musk says these come from court transcripts. All right, this isn't like unverified allegations, like whatever Palestinians claim. You know, oh, Israel is training rape dogs to rape Palestinians. Yeah, I'm sure they are. But this is true. This is proven. This is coming from the court. Now, this is a daily occurrence in heartbreakingly in all of Europe. All right, terror attack in Italy. Muslim terrorist rams car into crowds of people, stabs bystanders, 12 seriously wounded. But you're not allowed to even address this or you might go to jail. All right, just this is fucking insane. We are living in like absolute retard world and people had enough. So this video is not the actual march. This is just people heading to the gathering point of the march. Okay, understand the scale.
On the march. Here we go.
People are just tired. Understand the scale, man. So, after the Reform Party was humiliated in labor in the elections, that's the libtards, Keir Starmer smeared the Unite the Kingdom rally as an extremist event, banned conservatives from entering the country, but this is what it was. Look at this. Look at that. Oh my God. Holy shit. Lowballing, that's hundreds of thousands of people, man. You know, Tommy Robinson, who's basically leading this march, says we want our country back. Millions are in attendance.
We're on the march. We're walking up towards Trafalgar Square. The crowd's gone. Parliament Square's already full. The crowd stretched from here to Euston Station, apparently, which is miles. Okay? And miles. This is the biggest event in British history. This is the moment, a turning point for Britain. A message to the leaders. Britain's ready for the fight. Right? People are up. We're awake. And we're not going to back down.
God damn, it's just insane. We want our country back. Elon Musk retweets this. The thousands of British people imprisoned merely for social media posts or speaking their mind need to be released. No more prison island. Bro, this has 436,000 likes and 13 million views. This is unbelievably massive. All right, so the media, the leftoid media, is doing their absolute best to downplay it. An estimated 50,000 attendees are taking part in the rally. Please. Please. We see the footage. What are we doing here? All right. And then Piers Morgan, libtard extraordinaire, who supports the rape of British girls from Islamists, it seems, says 50,000. Wow, that's 2,950,000 fewer than Robinson claimed at his last march. Poor Tommy. Utterly humiliating. Hope he's okay. Man, I really hope we can get more third worlders to keep raping British girls. That would be fucking awesome. No, actually, Piers, you don't understand. This is just the line of men waiting to sleep with your wife, okay? Pierce is an attention-seeking sausage. Here's some attention again, Pierce. Happy to do you a favor, proving again how much of a total sausage you are. Enjoy another public humiliation. Hope you're watching the live. This is crazy, okay? And this is a lot more than 50,000 people. My God. Look at that. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. Just keeps going. All right, so now let's see how the left is responding to peaceful assembly. With Palestine flags. Of course they have Palestine flags, because Palestine is the ultimate Trojan horse for these people. All right, they don't actually support Palestine or anything. They probably don't even know where it is on the map. I don't know, but I don't know why they would support Islamic terrorists that raped and murdered and kidnapped Jews, and then Jews fought until they got their hostages back and killed the terrorists. And yeah, there's collateral damage in war. That's what happens, unfortunately. It's tragic, don't get me wrong. But holy shit, can you guys stop protesting in the honor of losers that started wars and lost? Oh my God. So again, it's a gigantic virtue signal. The Palestine flag is a Trojan horse, making believe they care about that when they don't, obviously, or they would care about the Christian genocide in Nigeria, or the Muslims getting genocided in Yemen, or in Syria, or the Christians getting genocided in the Congo, or Rwanda, or Sudan. But they don't. They obviously don't. They don't care about any of that. The 40,000 protesters that were massacred by the Islamic regime in Iran. They don't actually care about any of the things that they're fighting for. All right, that is why the Palestine flag became this basically Trojan horse against the West. So let's hear what they have to say. The kind and wholesome people. These are the wholesome, tolerant leftists.
Excuse me, should we shoot Tommy Robinson in the neck? Okay.
Get your clip elsewhere.
So they've just said that they want to hang Tommy Robinson and shoot him in the neck like Charlie Kirk. It's getting very aggressive.
That's the left. The right is like, hey, we really don't like when you rape our children. Maybe we should actually change our border policies to prevent third world migrant orcs from raping our kids. The left is like, we need to just kill all of you now. Right, just understand, this is how the discussion ends. They're there with their Palestine flags saying that we love peace and kindness and shit like that as they chant, shoot him in the neck like Charlie Kirk. All right, you don't understand the level of evil we're dealing with across the West, but it's insane. Now, the elites hate this, bro. It's insane, man. Absolute insanity. All the gamers get together. They gather up. Sargon of Akkad gave a little speech.
We have got to a point where we have a politician who, when he's called a racist or a sexist or whatever magic word they want to use, has magic words of his own. He has 3 powerful words that you should use in your own life. I don't care. They only have the power that we give them. We can choose differently, and we are. They are on borrowed time, and they know it.
That's right.
We are inevitable at this point.
That's right, baby.
Everywhere we go, we've been winning staggering victories. And I've got some good news. Rupert Lowe has declared for Makerfield. The battle is on. The war is going to be won. We are coming.
That's right, baby. Everyone's waking up. Everyone's paying attention. Even Nick Shirley, the guy. He went to London. He went to London, baby. London time. All right, he goes up to the stage, and the Patriots are chanting USA, USA as Nick Shirley takes the stage. And just understand for a second, look at the flags. It's majority British flags with some American flags, Israeli flags, and the Iranian flags for the people trying to rise up against the regime there. All right? Like, these are the goats. All right, just understand. It's actual Western values against the third world filth that is overthrowing our nations. USA! 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 Wow, British patriots actually like the United States of America as opposed to the Islamic Communist Alliance that fucking hates us and wants to kill us? USA! 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 Go undercover! Just look how insane that is. All right, so this is crazy.
London!
There he is! It's the fraud guy. USA! 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 Oh, baby, the British government about to leer a lesson.
Today I've walked with some of you here, and as I was walking, one sign really crossed my mind. There was a sign today that said we did not vote for open borders, digital ID, two-tier policing, higher taxes, loss of free speech, pedophiles in politics, higher cost of living. Now your media will call you far right, and your prime minister will call you guys dangerous. But the ideas of freedom of speech are not dangerous, or the idea that you want to know who your neighbor is does not make you dangerous. It means that you have common sense. We live in a world where common sense is becoming somewhat abstract to have. A lot of people don't have it these days. In the United States, we let an entire state commit billions of dollars in fraud because we were afraid, our politicians were afraid of being called racist or Islamophobic for speaking out against the fraud.
That's our boy!
Here in the United Kingdom, you guys had
not just being afraid of being called out. All right, these guys are going to jail for it. You don't understand.
Women be raped by gangs of men, and your politicians allowed it because they're afraid of being called a racist or Islamophobic. That does not make you a racist for speaking truth. No one should have to worry about where their tax dollars go. No one should have to worry if it gets spent into fraud or not, because we should have the confidence in our politicians. We shouldn't have to worry that our daughters are having to be careful who they go around, or a young woman in Scotland who is 12 years old shouldn't have to walk with a hatchet at the playground. I've been coming here to the United Kingdom for some time now, and each and every single year these marches get bigger and bigger and bigger. I think it is time that your Prime Minister and that your government takes heed to your words and takes heed to the caution that you guys are giving them, because change is inevitable here inside of the United Kingdom, and it doesn't need to be done because...
Bro, Nick Shirley, he got tired overthrowing politicians in the United States. He went to overthrow some politicians on Prison Rape Island.
Everyone should have the right to say what they want and have the freedom of speech. And may God bless you all, and thank you, Tommy Robinson.
Yeah! That's our boy. That's Nick. That's our guy. So let's see how the media is covering this. This little protest.
Put them in a vehicle and get them to the custody suite. So it is difficult if you're, as you see there, in the bang in the middle of that group of people, and something happens, you need to step in.
Right.
You then got to get yourself somewhere where a police vehicle can get to, which isn't.
Right. If something happens over there, how's the traffic is bad with the people. There's millions of people that's blocking traffic. What if
difficult in the middle? And what we've got today, two big marches. So you've got a huge part of central London that's now shut off. So you can find yourself between the middle of the two, and nowhere for you and your prisoner to go to. So it has to be like
Right.
a quite a definite decision.
Right.
And we've got to step in.
We don't care if the Pakistan-Palestine jihadi protests are raping our country and doing this every single fucking day, but I'm seeing some patriots, and I don't like that it's making traffic worse.
At this point, at this time, to take that person out of the crowd. But 11 arrests so far. Huge crowds already, as we can see, going right the way back along. Stewards at the front. The stewards will manage the crowd.
It's so crazy when you see like the difference in like flags, all right? It's just insane. You look at like the Palestine protests, these people dressed in like the keffiyehs and the hijabs, holding like bloody posters and like the Sith, or they look like the fucking Sith retards. And then you got the other people, bright colors, holding crosses, proclamations of faith. It's insane.
Now, if operationally, if there were a skirmish that broke out, I'm just speaking hypothetically, in the middle of this,
what will happen?
This big street here, of this big throng of people, how would police deal with that?
Oh my God!
You go in. You have to go, but you would go in almost
How
with
would
your
you do
your
it?
team.
Other than,
oh my
so
God!
You're looking at it from. I mean, we're showing people aerial pictures here from the helicopter.
Oh no!
Just talk us through how police.
How
are
would we
getting
deal with
there.
the traffic? Would be awful.
If you're standing at one of these, obviously, sort of officers on the road junctions there, and that's the bottom of the Aldwych. So they're coming along the Strand now, as I mentioned earlier. Lyceum Theatre's just up on the side there, coming down the Strand towards Trafalgar Square, Waterloo Bridge behind them. So a significant number of people. If some sort of confrontation or fight starts in the middle of the group, then ordinarily you're just aware of like raised voices and people moving away. So you're aware there's like a fracas going on in the crowd. So you try and get a position.
It would be awful. An entire nation descends on the Capitol to demand change. Media, what about the traffic? Unfortunately, that's just where we're at right now. And of course, Keir Starmer announced that he is standing down as Prime Minister. Everyone who turned up today and behaved impeccably ended this tyrant. Thank you. 87,000 likes. Dude, just unbelievable. It's time to restore Britain. The left is losing everywhere. Absolute shambles. They're losing domestically. They're losing in England. China absolutely got cucked by America, right? That was supposed to be the communist utopia, just getting absolutely curb stomped by capitalism. All right, and it's just wild to watch the leftoids fall apart. Hassan, specifically, is having the worst day of his life. All right, so Hassan is asked about the one-sided beef he has with Shoe on Head. All right?
This is exactly what it's like with my fucking haters. In the very unbelievably rare occasion, come up to me IRL.
Unbelievably rare.
Okay.
Because he's so beloved. He surrounds himself with terrorists, and they fucking love him.
Behind closed doors, they're like, oh, I got him.
True.
One of them came up to me at the fucking...
he's going to jail, by the way.
At the Web Summit. He's like, I'm an Asmongold fan. I'm going to troll you in real life. And I was like, okay, do you want a photo? Like,
man, he was so unbothered.
Yeah, yesterday. What's your beef with Shoe on It? I was like, I don't have any fucking, it's one-sided, you know?
It's so one-sided,
As I've
bro.
said over and over again, in the real world, where we can be in
where
each
Hassan Piker is going to jail.
There's physical spaces. The situation doesn't unfold in the way that you envisioned it, right? On the internet, you can be like, I have portrayed myself as cool, calm, and collected, and my interlocutor is angry, emotional.
Bro, your
and
cortisol is spiking
losing
right
the
now,
argument. But in the fucking real world, it's very different.
True.
I noticed your 20-second mentions of some YouTubers turn into 1-hour videos responding to your crash outs. Yeah, that they all.
Yeah, he watches all of them, actually, which is why he constantly shits on me. All right, there's this guy that's in like a doxing server, all right, on Discord, trying to dox me and dox all of Hassan's other enemies, and Hassan is signal boosting the doxer. I'm not even exaggerating. Right? It's insane how tuned in he is to the fact that everyone fucking hates him because he's a terrorist-supporting, pedophile-supporting retard. All right, so Shoe on Head responds, spend 3 minutes of a 30-minute video responding to his awful pragmata take. He chimps the fuck out, embarrasses himself, whole internet witnesses his meltdown, laugh at it with my friend. She crashed out, one-sided beef, 555, come on now. Come on now, just absolute fucking evisceration, bro. And by the way, Shuan Head, I very, very much appreciate the shout out in your description making fun of Hassan Piker. That's very fucking awesome, actually, because Hassan Piker sucks, actually. He's a terror-supporting retard. And his awful pragmata take, by the way, that everyone's making fun of him about, bro, his awful pragmata take is him being like, you should not have children, actually, and not have a family. You should go commit domestic terrorism instead. And the funniest thing is, like, he spent 6 minutes talking about, I'm not crashing out, I promise. I'm not gonna play the whole thing because I have mercy for your sanity, but like, dude, it doesn't stop. Look at this.
Ridiculous thing to do. We're doing political commentary here. Who gives a shit? And now that I've said that, she'll do like an hour-long video on it, being like,
He's still crashing out, bro. He's still going.
He was so
This clip of Hassan talking about how he's not crashing out is longer than his mention in the original Shoe on Head video calling him out for saying, actually, you shouldn't have children and start a family. You should go be a domestic terrorist instead.
Unbelievably owned. And then all of these people are like, yes. You're fucking destroying him, my queen. And it's so funny because it's like, okay, yeah, I've
signal boosting doxers, Hassan. That'll help you from your inevitable arrest and deportation. Anyway, so Hassan is crashing out on the whole China situation. Democrats, do not try to engage in China hawkery. Please, please do not repeat your mistakes. The best and only path forward is peaceful coexistence and cooperation. Please, please, Democrats, you must let China take Taiwan, please. Hassan, pending community note, Hassan supports Chinese imperialism and pushes for militaristic takeover of Taiwan. Something 97% of Taiwanese oppose, according to a 2025 national poll, showing 63% of Taiwanese identify solely as Taiwanese and only 2.4 support unification. All right, but he doesn't care. He does not care about the people of Taiwan or Tibet, which, by the way, he's already in the past supported the rape, capture, and concentration camps that China made for Tibetan people. He already said he supported that. All right, you know, long before he even got his Chinese Communist Party endorsed tour of China. All right, so this guy is telling, no, Democrats, you must let China do whatever the fuck they want in the world and support them. Translation, this is from a transgender leftoid, I'm pretty sure, right? Because you don't understand, this is leftoid civil war. They fucking hate Hassan. Everyone hates Hassan. You know, everyone's like, wait, actually, I don't want terrorism and shit. Please, please, please. Just let China invade and annex Taiwan without protest. Please, please do that. Hassan gets back. Why don't we send you to the front lines right now? There's already one war America started that isn't going too well. Actually, it's going really well, which is why we killed so many of the terrorists. And it's awesome. Hopefully we'll kill some more. It'll be great. Anyway, I'm sorry if they're friends of yours, Hassan. So, and possibly the most diabolical community note of all time, Hassan actively pushes Chinese imperialism, denies CCP involvement in the Uyghur genocide, promotes militaristic takeover of Taiwan. 2025 National Survey says that Taiwanese identify solely as Taiwanese, etc., etc. And then it has like a whole bunch of sources of Hassan just straight up supporting imperialist China. So when he says that he's against American empire and he hates America, it's not because he's anti-imperialist. And I've said this so many times. It's not that he's anti-imperialist. He just supports the other empire, all right? None of these people actually have ideological follow-throughs on any of their ideals because their ideals are rooted in nothing. Their morality is fake and gay. They don't actually believe in anything that they espouse, all right? They are little nebulous retards wandering around, rooting for their fucker retards to defeat our glorious, glorious American civilization. That is Hassan Piker's political stances on everything. His political stances will always be the downfall of Western civilization, particularly America, because we are the GOAT. Pay attention. That's why he'll support the cartels, all right? That's why he'll support Venezuela and Cuba. That's why he'll support every single Islamic terrorist organization on the fucking planet, like the Houthis bombing our ships, or Hezbollah bombing our Marines, or Hamas that have killed dozens of our men, women, and children that they've raped and massacred. It's why he'll support Russia taking Ukraine, and it's why he supports China, inevitably, irrevocably, pure 100% China. He has stated directly in the past that if China would attack America, he would defect to China. Understand, none of the actual values he claims to believe in are something he actually supports. His actual ideology is the destruction of the West, and he's not alone. He's just retarded enough to make it really obvious. And that's why he hates me, by the way. That's why he will never bring up my clips. He'll only slander me without actually showing my video. He'll just slander me. He'll shout out people trying to dox me and shit. But the reality is, that is why this motherfucker cannot stand me, because I pinned him. I got it right. He called me out, by the way, and then I challenged him to a debate, and then he ghosted. All right, just saying, just to be clear, understand the level of retard we're dealing with. You seriously don't think Xi Chad would invade Taiwan, bro? Like, why don't we send you to Iran right now then? Like, that's literally his argument. Literally. All right? That's literally his argument. This guy's like, why do you support China invading and taking Taiwan without protest? We should send you to die in a war. Very, very good stuff. Now, Hassan then claims he is completely numb to criticism.
Hassan actively pushes Chinese imperialism, denies CCP involvement in Uyghur genocide, and promotes militaristic takeover of Taiwan. Wait, what?
Bro. Community notes got him.
What does this have anything to do with...
Oh, he doesn't even deny that he doesn't even deny it. He's just like, oh, that's irrelevant.
What I'm saying here. Like,
oh, it's just context, so that when you're like outwardly supporting China and criticizing America for being adversarial to China, it's just so like viewers might have a perspective that you might possibly be biased because you want infinite Chinese century, perhaps.
Community notes are supposed to be meaningful about the thing that
This was very meaningful. Very meaningful. You made your entire personality to be against the pretendicide in Gaza and hate the United States and support China. And then it turns out you're just a Chinese imperialist cum-rag tanky who's just more than happy to sit there and gobble and slurp whatever propaganda you possibly can in order to push for infinite Chinese takeover of the world. So it's very relevant, actually.
I'm talking about.
Notice how he doesn't deny it.
I'm not making an assessment on support for unification here at all. I mean, okay, man. Great. Yes, I'm a Chinese imperialist.
I love how we can't even deny it, so he has to make believe he's sarcastic about it.
Dude, totally.
Yep, true.
That's what this is.
Yep. True. He doesn't even deny it. Oh my God. So cucked.
I hate that the most like annoying thing that has happened beyond Twitter being a fucking neo-Nazi shithole, which is the ultimate most annoying thing.
Which is true, because Hassan Piker, a guy who advocates for basically every single one of Hitler's talking points when it comes to Jews in Israel, Hassan's there on Twitter. So true.
The liberals that fucking remain, on the platform are also some of the most unvarnished imperialist nuisance liberals.
That's right. Keep killing each other, leftists.
Fucking
It's the leftist holocaust, baby. It's leftoids versus libtards. It's a true fight to the death. Retards fighting.
Frustrating. It's very
infinite retard genocide happening on the timeline right now.
Very rare to have the entirety of the liberal and left coalition united on Twitter. Everyone has knives out for one another.
Knives out. In other words, you criticized me. And all I wanted was China to take Taiwan and genocide the people. And you criticized me. You fool.
It's intentional. It's just, I fucking hate everything, man.
I
was in such a goddamn good mood, too.
He doesn't have crash outs. No.
I was in such a good mood.
He was in such a good mood. And now he hates everything.
When we first started.
No, he saw a tweet he didn't like.
Mood.
He's in a horrible mood. 85 IQ retard with low impulse control is in a horrible mood because he saw a tweet he didn't like. Please just end it all.
Bro, the libs on Blue Sky are just as bad.
Oh, they don't even like me on Blue Sky.
Look, I'm no stranger. DGG is super active on community notes, and they've effectively taken over the community notes subreddit.
It's
Great.
destiny.
Fantastic. Good for them. I don't know what else to say. Nobody gives a fuck about community notes on Twitter.
Clearly you do, because you're in a terrible mood right now by your own admission.
Other than the people who are making the community notes on Twitter. That little chick is a deorbiter, by the way. That's why they're hitting you so hard. No, I know. I'm
only getting criticized by bad faith people. Yeah. So anyway, this is pamphlets. This is a communist Islamist news site, by the way. All right, saying, no, China has no democracy, yet every city has a subway. That's right. Democracy is when subway. Community notes, that's actually not true. The largest Chinese city without a subway in 2026 is Linyi. Population of 11 million, no subway. So it's like, A, not true, B, retarded as fuck. All right, now Hasan Piker, you know, he actually got an LA mayor candidate who's losing miserably, by the way. An LA mayor candidate on his stream, which he is promoting, by the way. Of course, he promotes the foreigner every single time in every single election. Every single time, Hasan Piker will, without fail, vote for the foreigner. The one that wants infinite communism to take money away from the people that earn it and give it to the people that don't deserve it, and bring in complete fucking retards into the country. That will be 100% of the time exactly who Hasan endorses. So Hasan does endorse her, but the craziest part is, first, he makes sure she passes the purity test, and it's insane. It doesn't stop. It's really long. Basically, it's an entire interview about Palestine. She's running to be the mayor of Los Angeles, bro. And just watch this, man.
Your 2020 DFI.
His own audience, by the way, turned on her. Now his audience doesn't want to vote for her because she didn't purity test enough.
LA questionnaire. You said you don't support boycott, divestments, and sanctions (BDS), and that you support Israel's right to exist. Has your stance changed since then? And do you believe Israel has a right to exist in its current form?
I love how this guy has a mayor candidate for Los Angeles on his stream, and he's like, so your thoughts on Israel's right to exist?
It's an ethno-state that's currently being investigated for genocide at the International Court of Justice.
You know, yes, I do believe that Israel has a right to exist.
Gay communist answer, by the way. The answer is Israel does not have a right to exist, and neither does any other country on the planet. No country on the planet has a right to fucking anything. The reason why Israel does exist is because the infinite retards that keep trying to kill the Jews in Israel keep losing their fucking wars. All right? No one has the right to exist. All right? So again, immediate retard response.
Want to see countries that are operating without apartheid, with equality in their borders.
Just to be clear, when he says apartheid, he specifically means non-Islamic apartheid. Because you do realize that in China there's apartheid, not Islamic, but in China there's apartheid, in Turkey there's apartheid, in Pakistan there's apartheid. Every single Islamic country there's apartheid. In Qatar, in all these countries there's apartheid. In Israel, ironically, there isn't apartheid. You know, a fifth of the Israeli government are Arabs, not even Jews. So that's bullshit. That's one. And two, in regards to ethno-state, Japan is an ethno-state. Korea is an ethno-state. All right, China's an ethno-state. But no complaints about any of those ethno-states. All right, like, you have to understand exactly the game that this retard plays, because words mean nothing to him. He uses them as weapons.
I come from a country, from India, which is,
great.
You know, now...
Great. Let's get an Indian mayor of Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, operating through Hindu nationalist principles, and I'm deeply critical of it. And I'm critical of that when it happens everywhere.
Wow. I love how she says my country. She's running for mayor in the United States of America and refers to India as her country. Just understand this, man.
Yeah. Do you believe that Israel is an apartheid state then?
I think that it is. Yeah, I think that they're not treating people fairly. That they're treating people unequally. I do believe that, and I'm critical of that. But yeah.
Okay.
Not enough. It's not enough.
In February 2024, the SALA censured you for accepting the endorsement of Democrats for Israel LA, a group that has openly opposed a Gaza ceasefire. Knowing what we know now and seeing the videos of Gaza in ruins, do you disagree with that endorsement? Would you still seek it out at this point? What's your has
he
your
doesn't
attitude
stop,
shifted?
by the way.
And if
This
so,
purity testing goes on for like another hour.
Why?
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't seek it out now. And I've spoken out against the violence in Gaza. I was the co-author.
By the way, you want to hear a really funny statistic that'll immediately rape your mind? Did you know that according to the United Nations, 70% of buildings in Gaza were destroyed? Yet only 1% of people in Gaza were killed. Those buildings were supposed to be full of people. Why aren't they dead? That's so weird. They destroyed 70% of the buildings. They only killed 1% of the people. That's so weird. It's almost like they specifically evacuated the people to prevent them from dying. Literally the worst genocide ever.
A ceasefire resolution at City Hall never was voted on, but I co-authored it.
I co-authored it. I do virtue signal for Palestine.
The violence against Palestinians in the building.
No.
And I remain deeply, deeply concerned.
I'm concerned.
About...
I have so much concern in my heart. Anyway, by the way, for the record, this is how much time he spends on the virtue signal LARP. And then after 50 minutes of this bullshit, he's like, oh yeah, I endorse her completely because at least she's better than the other guys. At least she's like an open borders communist Indian, and you know, gonna fucking destroy our country at least. So that'll be awesome, right? And he still endorses her. So this is just absolute cinema. Lim Phao, Hassan is LA mayor candidate on, asked a bunch of Israel-Palestine questions. She responds that the mayor of LA doesn't really affect the issue, and his chat had to go into emote-only mode because of the hate and vitriol. This is the ultimate psyop. These people don't care about anything. Anyway, heartbreaking news for Hassan Piker. Israeli military confirms they killed the leader of Hamas's military wing. Just literally terrible fucking news. Terrible news for Hassan Piker. Guys, Hassan is going through a lot right now. It's just miserable. His best buddy was just killed. It is so sad. Can we get some heart emojis in the comments for Hassan Piker's best friend that was just killed? Anyway, we got Sam Harris, a libtard, by the way, says that, oh my God, Hassan Piker is like the same as Nick Fuentes. It's not true. Nick Fuentes is infinitely better than Hassan Piker.
The left, unlike the right, has captured mainstream institutions to a remarkable degree. So you have in recent months the New York Times not only platforming but really celebrating Hassan Piker as though he were the new face of progressive politics.
Oh my!
In America.
Oh my!
I mean, they gave him a glowing profile in the style section. They gave him his own op-ed. Ezra Klein embraced him as, quote, not the enemy. He was on another podcast anchored by a New York Times writer with a New Yorker writer, and he and the New Yorker writer were agreeing that looting was now an ethical. Micro-looting was now an ethical strategy of protest.
It's amazing.
Just steal from corporations that you think are too rich or that you don't like. I mean, this is obviously morally deranged.
True.
And you would not get the analogous right-coded derangement celebrated by any kind of mainstream.
He's like, I don't get it. Crazy people on the left are embraced, and crazy people on the right are shunned. I don't even get it, says libtard extraordinaire Sam Harris. Pretty good stuff, honestly.
News outlet, right? So,
wow.
Who
could have seen this coming?
Hassan Piker is not.
You mean to tell me that the left is inherently a psychopathic, morally deranged party based on barbaric principles and child sacrifice? You mean to tell me that your party that you've been promoting for a very long time is just an absolutely morally devoid shithole? Wow. Self-report of the century.
Recognized to be as odious as someone like Nick Fuentes. I mean,
but here's the irony. Nick Fuentes is infinitely better than Hassan Piker. I have never seen Nick Fuentes endorse violence or incite violence or directly call for people to kill Jews. Yeah, he doesn't like Jews. Sure. Yeah, he doesn't like Israel. Absolutely. I never see him calling for terrorist attacks. Hassan Piker does it almost every week. Okay? You can't compare them. Now, of course, Mayor Zohran Mamdani does exactly what the mayor of New York should be doing. Today marks Nakba Day. We just invented a new holiday, guys. An annual day of remembrance to commemorate the expulsion of more than 700,000 Palestinians from 1947 to 1949 during the creation of the State of Israel in the year that followed. Does anyone want to know why they left? Why did they leave? They didn't get expelled. They left themselves because 5 Arab armies declared war on Israel. And they were like, listen, Palestinians, you leave, you join us, and when we destroy the Jews, we'll give you your place back. But they lost miserably. And the Jews were like, no, actually, you guys left the country to join Arab armies to kill us? No, actually, we don't want to let you back. And that's actually kind of, again, really sucks for a lot of those guys, but kind of based, if you ask me. Again, I'm really sorry for all the people that lost their houses and suffered through this, and they were innocent. They just kind of didn't want to be in the middle of a war. I'm sure that'll happen to a lot of them. That sucks. But anyway, life moves on. All right, so Ainia is a New Yorker and a Nakba survivor. I love the term survivor because no one died in the Nakba. The Nakba was just a lot of Palestinians left their homes to let Arab countries kill the Jews, and they failed. All right, and then they didn't get their homes back. All right, Nakba survivor. 99% of people during the Nakba were Nakba survivors. All right, and also this Nakba survivor is a European settler. In the late 19th century, Muslim Bosnians, including Ainia's grandparents, fled Bosnia to Ottoman Syria after Austria-Hungary took control of Bosnia. All right, and then, boom, she managed to show up. Like, understand, this is literally a European settler crying about the Nakba. Like, that's insane. So this guy, Nuisir Yassin, is a Palestinian being like, narrative violation warning. Elders in my Arab village in Israel told me the richest Palestinians sold their land and left first. 80 years later, their grandkids now claim to be displaced victims. I'm so allergic to victim mindset. It boils my blood. 15 million displaced Hindus and Muslims in India, Pakistan around the same year. No one is trying to be a victim there. It's time to move on. You only get to be a victim once. After that, you're a volunteer. But this is a Palestinian, by the way. A Palestinian saying, what are you doing? Stop. Comrade Mamdani says Nakba survivor, as if they survived the Holocaust or something. The only difference is the Nakba survival rate was 99%. 99%! This is crazy. The Gaza genocide, by the way, is roughly 97% survival rate. Right, just understand. Everyone discusses the Nakba. No one mentions that Jordan's expelled 20,000 Palestinians. Libya expelled 30,000 Palestinians. Iraq expelled 21,000 Palestinians. Lebanon expelled 30,000 Palestinians. Kuwait expelled 300,000 Palestinians. Right, just understand. Also, the Arab states told them to leave. The Arab states told them to leave so they could kill the Jews. They lost the war, like Arabs do. Arabs lose all their wars because they're retarded, inbred people for the most part. And now they're crying about it. Now, it's just miserable. This is what's going on in Gaza right now, by the way, as you can tell, because of the genocide. They're having parties. This is men-only parties. The women slaves are still in their houses doing what women slaves are supposed to do. And once again, they are arming the children of Gaza. It's like, oh my God, children are dying in the genocide. Well, I mean, what do you expect Israel to do? Like, let's be honest for a second. Right, here's a nice group of fat Palestinian terrorists with that were starving in a hunger with their children carrying weapons. Like, bro, what are you expecting is gonna happen? What are you being serious for like a second? All right, like it's so sad. The slopaganda that people are eating is insane. All right, this is a father who lost a child 3 times, the same child. All right, Israel killed the same child in Gaza at least 3 times. And they all push the same bullshit again and again. All right, and here we have the mayor of New York. Now, I want to tell you my incredibly nuanced opinion on American politics. I really only wanted to focus on America. I don't want to be funding foreign countries. I don't want to be sitting here and defining our politics based on how many times Palestinians could start wars and lose. I actually don't care about any of that shit. But you could tell that this emotional diarrhea works wonders for the retards in New York, the retard leftoids that basically let emotions dictate their entire worldview. Understand, we are not up against a succinct, logical enemy that has different ideological values as us in regards to make America the best country. These people just hate America and want us to fucking die. And that is why the Palestinian movement exists. It exists, ultimately, as a political movement designed to psyop and emotionally manipulate the retards into hating our country and destroying our civilization. It's not about the Palestinians that keep starting wars and losing, just like they don't care about any of the actual genocides that are going around, all perpetrated by Muslims, suspiciously enough. The jig is up. This blue retard is calling it out for what it is, and people need to wake up and notice. A lot of people are so scared to say it because, oh my God, but children are dying and I'm gonna look mean. I don't care about how I look. Your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer. We gotta get the pussies out of politics, man. We're literally getting mind raped by the lowest IQ slopaganda, and the feminoids are just slurping it up because they have absolutely zero emotional defense mechanisms. Groomed into SSRI-addicted retards in colleges funded by Qatar. This country needs strong men to stand up and fight for ourselves, because we cannot leave ourselves in the hands of these demented feminoids. And we're not doing that, actually. Actually, we're winning. Now, if you watch my content for a long time, you will know I am not a fan of anyone that has any allegiance to any foreign country over our own, period. The end. End of story. We got to talk about Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro knows it's over. The Daily Wire is falling apart. People are getting fired. There were mass layoffs. His subscribers and views are down. However, they're not as down as a lot of the people say they are. All right? He does like these short clips, which get like 10,000 views, 30,000 views. But his actual hour-long videos, they all have almost 500,000 views. All right? Like this 2 days ago, 500,000 views. All right? But then you look at the other one here, 3 days ago, 500,000 views. 4 days ago, 500,000 views. All right? This is so much more than all the Megyn Kellys and the Sneakos make believe it is. The fall off is not as dramatic as people say it is, but the fall off is dramatic. He is losing subscribers. The Daily Wire is firing people, and he knows it's over. His pristine brand of conservatism is dead, by the way, and that's because it is way too cucked. I'm sorry to say it, but that's the truth. Now, he addressed this, and in his video where he addressed this, he actually, as far as I understand, did a good job. Asmongold basically agreed with him, which was crazy, because I know Asmongold hates Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro made a video, all the haters could kiss my ass, and I'm very excited to see what this is all about. It got gigantic crash outs from all the idiots, all right? So Shapiro called Carlson a Muslim apologist, and of course, actual Muslim apologist, Mehdi Hassan pops out of the woodwork. Imagine if a left-wing commentator called Shapiro a Jewish apologist. He would call the commentator an anti-Semitic bigot. Why? He literally is a Jewish apologist. He is quite literally Jewish. Of course, he is literally a Jewish apologist by definition. What are you talking about? Tucker Carlson, who claims to not be a Muslim, is a Muslim apologist. That is a fact. I have no idea why this is like some sort of line of attack. Now, Nick Fuentes also recently, he has done some pretty call-out worthy things too.
Epstein quarter zip. Let him know you fuck with Epstein. Yeah, we fuck with Epstein. I like people that aren't retarded.
Listen, man, bro hates all the Jews except for like giga pedophile. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? All right, but again, that's not surprising.
I'm a non-woke moderate Democrat. I think the GOP needs to be destroyed. I think the corrupt criminal government of Trump needs to be slowed down. We need to impeach the orange.
You know, like, I'll be real here. Now we get why he fucks with Epstein. We get it now. We get it. Because he's a Democrat. Democrats love Epstein. Now, the crazy twist of all is we have to see the Ben Shapiro crash out, baby. All the haters could kiss his ass. Now, I am going to say one thing about Ben Shapiro that I very much respect. He is super consistent. He is very consistent. He is basically your completely and utterly pristine, normie, conservative talk guy. He doesn't have these massive hypocritical moments like Tucker Carlson, who hates Islam and then loves Islam, who hates Russia and then loves Russia, right? He doesn't have that Megyn Kelly grift. Megyn Kelly supported transing the kids and then supported generic conservatism in Israel and then backstabbed all that. Now she's on the anti-Israel grift. You know, not Candace Owens, who was anti-feminist and then pro-feminist and then a leftist doxer and then a right-wing Jews-controlled society and also the weather and also have time-traveling assassins that killed Charlie Kirk. Complete and utter fucking nutcase. All right, Ben Shapiro has been remarkably consistent the entire time. The issues with Ben Shapiro are Ben Shapiro has made statements like, who even cares who killed JFK? That was so long ago. Anyway, let me tell you about the Holocaust. Statements like, I would waive the requirement for American-born citizens to be the president of the United States of America if Benjamin Netanyahu could become the president of the United States of America. Statements like that, which are just like literally what the fuck is going on. So lock in, boys and girls. Let's see what the man has to say. All right, it's Jew time.
Well, hello, everybody. You know, sometimes here on The Ben Shapiro Show, we cover the news. And sometimes we are the news here at The Daily Wire. Well, over the past few weeks, The Daily Wire, you might have noticed, has been the subject of a bunch of hit pieces, like a veritable cornucopia of hit pieces. Yeah. There was one from the Washington Post.
That's how you know you made it.
And there was one from Puck. And then, finally, there was an especially ridiculous one from the stellar journalists at New York Magazine, who literally plagiarized their hit piece from the Washington Post.
That's crazy.
So much journalisming, high-level journalism.
That's a lot of journalisming.
Well, this morning, that New York...
By the way, for whatever anyone wants to say about the Daily Wire, in my opinion, single-handedly was the #1 enemy of transgenderism in the United States of America. They ended the transgender movement. Ben Shapiro destroys woke libtards with fact and logic was literally everything in 2016. Say what you will, they have been on the right side of history a hell of a lot.
New York Magazine piece is lighting up the interwebs. It's lighting up X. Well, New York Magazine claims there was a time when Ben Shapiro could reasonably call himself the king of all conservative media.
I mean, that's crazy.
Remember that time, but sounds cool.
Yeah, it does sound cool. He was an anti-Trumper, though. Let's not forget. He was anti-Trumper. He was pro-vaccine, pro-COVID lockdowns. Like, that's my issue, man. He is just way too in the box, you know, pro-giga corporations, pro-massive government overreach. Believe the mainstream narrative, right? He said Epstein was a hoax. There was never any Epstein clients. We're in a generation where we're tired of like the basic, let's just vote harder. And we're like, no, actually, we need to tear this shit to the ground. We need to fucking obliterate this shit. We need law and order, closed border, deport everybody. America first, no allegiance to foreign powers over our own nation. No dual citizens in Congress, just absolute slaughter of this old world libtard global order of retards. All right, and anyway.
They say that's all over now. The Daily Wire is instituting significant layoffs. Ooh. Well, according to New York Magazine, the future of conservatism isn't traditional conservatism, like free markets, like equal rights before law, like checks and balances,
That too,
like traditional
for sure.
virtue.
True.
That's done.
No, that's true for sure, except we're going way harder than like the generic shit.
The future, according to New York Magazine, is Nick Fuentes, confirmed Nazi stan and woman hater, and man who will never be able to get a human woman pregnant through natural means.
Damn, that's
or
a good,
Tucker
good
Carlson,
roast.
confirmed anti-capitalist and Muslim apologist, and victim of demon scratching, or maybe Candace Owens, the confirmed slanderer of widows and connoisseur of French testicles. Or maybe Megyn Kelly, click whoring Grandma Groiper over there.
Click whore, bro. Grandma Groiper. Holy shit. Ben Shapiro watching the Nuxanor channel, ?
Well, New York Magazine writes, quote, the collapse of the Daily Wire can be seen as a dire warning for traditional Republicans. There are two realities to Shapiro conservatism in 2026. It retains a significant foothold among Republican elites, and it is being fast rejected by the future grassroots of the parties. First of all, that's just wrong. By the polling data?
No, I actually, for the record, he's completely right about this. That is the generic conservatism is the foundation that a lot of people have. I think the majority, except I think a lot of the people actually want radical change. People are just tired of this old world order bullshit, this globalized, retarded, gay slop everywhere. We want to tear this shit to the fucking ground, all right? And you don't go hard enough, bro. Ben Shapiro, you could turn around the Daily Wire if you actually just went about 50% harder.
That we take here on the show are reflective of the broad majority of Republicans. That's just the reality. But I figured that we should address all of this head on. So it's true. The Daily Wire laid off some 13% of our workforce since the beginning of the year.
He knows it's over, bro. It's over, bro. He knows it's over. Generic, pristine conservatardism is dying. All right, and people actually are fucking tired. We're tired. Yes, I believe in the free market. I do, absolutely. For Americans. And we need to deport infinite Indian visa holders. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just being real.
And that really sucked. It was truly sad because all those people are great. And anytime, we're in business. Anytime you lay people off as a business, that really sucks. It's tough. It's bad for them. It's bad for us. And I'm personally working to find other places of employ for as many of these people as I possibly can. Because everybody who we let go deserves a job somewhere else. They're great folks. But for our critics, this was all cause for massive celebration. The joyful popping of the corks, or maybe in the case of Nick Fuentes, a victory celebration with Catboys and lubricant. And listen, we're honored by the attention. See, here's the thing. People only tend to write stories like this about major American institutions, right? Like Amazon dumps people. It's a big story.
True.
Or Washington
That's
Post.
right. That's how you know you made it, bro. He's so right about that.
Dumps people, and that's a big...
Also, there are several reasons why Daily Wire is falling apart. That's important to know. They fired a complete fucking retarded crackpot like Candace Owens, all right, who ultimately, she was a massive, content creator for their organization, and they fired her because she's fucking retarded. It was ultimately the right call. They also, Jordan Peterson, he's really sick right now. There's a couple of reasons that are out of his control, too. That's fair.
Story. And thank God, we are a major American institution. According to PodTrack, our podcast reach is 41 million people per month. We're ranked 6th globally.
Wow.
We have a total of 11 shows. Paramount, to take an example from that same chart, is ranked 4th globally. They have 145 shows. So on a per capita basis, we're killing it.
Per capita.
We are responsible for the 2 most successful conservative documentaries in history, Matt Walsh's Am I Racist and What is a Woman? Just this week,
Cinema.
Vice President Vance was quoting our reporting in his fraud investigations, and our White House correspondent, Mary Margaret Olahan, is in the press room asking questions. See, here's the thing. There's no national media coverage if a top Candace Owens producer and her manager quit, or if Megyn Kelly's YouTube account starts shedding tens of thousands of subscribers a month, or if Tucker Carlson's traffic is disproportionately drawn from Pakistan.
Which it is.
We all have our fan base. Those are all things that actually happen.
Bro is not backing down, bro. He knows it's over, but he is sticking to his guns, and I respect the shit out of that.
The way, but nobody really cares very much because, those people have significant audience numbers, but they don't have any real institutional influence. They are not institutions. That's not true of the Daily Wire.
He is right.
We're big enough that people care when we trip up. And of course, like any business, we have our ups, we have our downs. But as Mark Twain put it, the reports of our death are greatly exaggerated. But here's the thing. There's something else going on here.
Oh, shit.
Something very clear going on here. The media left and the woke right, that'd be like Candace and Fuentes and Tucker and Megyn, all of them.
whenever I hear him like list his names of ops in the quote unquote woke right, which is a retarded term, call them the retard right if you were actually based. All right, you're really, in my opinion, mixing things up. Tucker Carlson is a paid bad actor from foreign entities. Megyn Kelly is just a grifter. She will grift to whatever is popular, from trans shit to pro-Israel to anti-Israel, whatever. She'll flip-flop like that. Candace Owens is just a complete fucking retard, who, in my opinion, is being used as a psyop by, like, the George Soros type people. She married a British lord. And Nick Fuentes, you refuse to debate. Nick Fuentes ultimately is his own person, all right? He is his own person. He's been remarkably consistent over the years. Whatever you say about him, I disagree with a lot of his, like, yeah, I fuck with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm a moderate Democrat, all right? Listen, I don't agree with his political stances. Vote Democrat to show Trump who's boss. Israel is the root of all the things, all right? I think that a lot of that shit's retarded. He has been consistent. He has not been grifty and flip-floppy in those regards. And he challenges you to debate, and you refuse to debate him. If your ideas are better than his, prove it. I would have so much more respect if you would debate that guy. He's totally right about the other three. The other three are complete fucking losers. In fact, he tried to debate Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson ghosted him. He ran away. He refused to debate him. And the other two are just completely far gone. But I would totally respect your criticism of Nick Fuentes being a catboy-loving, terrorist, sympathizing, neo-Nazi, or whatever the fuck you want to call him, if you would actually debate the guy. You're a good debater, all right? You would probably even destroy him with facts and logic. I would love to see that debate.
Together, the New Left, they are attempting to destroy traditional conservatism. That's the whole thing here. See, the Daily Wire is the largest traditional conservative media company in the digital space by like a ton, by leaps and bounds. We are multiple times the size of any of these others. We have lots of conversations on our platform between our various hosts about topics ranging from AI to the Middle East, on Catholicism and Judaism and all of it. There's a lot of rich disagreement here at the Daily Wire. But in the end, what we stand for here at the Daily Wire is pretty simple: truth and virtue and freedom. And that is what the New Left, meaning the old left and the horseshoe right, would love to destroy. It's why the attacks have been coming fast and furious for weeks now. They want to destroy traditional...
He is right. I see constantly people like, Ben Shapiro says this, and then they like make up a complete fake quote, and it has like 1 million likes. I think Ben Shapiro gets a way disproportionate amount of hate for shit like that. And ultimately, I do think he is fighting the good fight. My issue is there is just a little inkling there that's like, is he really fighting for American values? Like, I get it. American values are absolutely great, and I do think they align with Israel, generally speaking, but are you fighting for American values because they align with Israel? Or because they're American values? You always have to wonder that. When you hear bro be like, I would let Netanyahu become president of the United States and waive the rights of, waive the requirement of American born. I'm like, what are we doing here, man?
Conservatism. It is their goal in life. They want to destroy it for a couple of different reasons. The left for one reason, the woke right for another. In our supposed vulnerability, people from Nick Fuentes to Tucker, from Candace Owens to New York Magazine, from the Washington Post to Megyn Kelly, they see an opportunity to supplant traditional conservatism with a conspiratorial, grievance-addled, nutty version of populism. Or, in Megyn's case, just make some quick clicks and cash. It's a lucrative grift. It's a dangerous grift for America.
Bro,
so
he's
why
cooking.
Is this happening? Well,
he's
obviously,
right.
For the media left, we understand.
He's totally right about this, by the way.
We get it. For the media left, we get it. They're always happy to run this grift because they love a right that is crazy. They don't want a right that is characterized by normie beliefs. They want a right that's nuts, because the easiest way to make AOC president in the 2028 election,
God forbid, oh my God,
is to have that nutty lady run against a conservative movement.
Bro, she's going to get absolutely eviscerated by Marcus Rubius, okay? Yeah, if our Latino mogs the shit out of your Latino, okay?
That is focused on Brigitte Macron's testicles, or demon attacks in the wilds of Maine.
True.
Or why the Jews are responsible for your incurable gingivitis and horrific body odor and inability to get a date.
Bro, that's literally my line.
Now, as for the woke right, the new left, again, that would be Fuentes and Tucker and Candace and company.
Again, I really hate the lumpen situation, but yeah.
They're ecstatic about all of this for both business and political reasons.
True.
One, they're our competition. But second, they want to tear down traditional conservatism. Their whole goal is to cannibalize the traditional conservative audience. There are, by all available metrics, a hell of a lot more traditional conservatives and rational people in this country than nuts. But
then why are you losing viewers and they are gaining viewers? Obviously, you are not exactly assuaging the fears of the average normal guy. And that's why I'm saying, I think that you're a little bit mistaken here. I think one of the reasons why people are listening to these other voices are not necessarily because they agree with all the things. I don't think every person listening to Tucker Carlson loves Islam. I think they have questions, and they're also from Pakistan. And when you just sweep all criticism of Israel, let's say, completely under the rug, all of it, well, then it just looks like you're hiding something, sir. I'm very open and upfront about my stances. I do not want to be funding any foreign country ever, period. I have zero allegiance to the government of Israel. I do believe the land is the Holy Land, promised 3,000 years ago. Yeah, sure, yeah. Whatever. The people there, great people. Shout out to the Jews. They control the weather and have time-traveling assassins. I love the Jews. They're great. Some of them. The non-woke ones, at least. But the government is just like any other foreign government. You see, I'll give you an example. Every time I see the government of Israel celebrating some sort of pride parade, I throw up in my mouth the same way I see one happening here. That said, I actually do like that Israel does like winning wars and obliterating terrorists and shit. So literally the opposite. Most people are like, well, I don't support everything the government does. I don't like that they kill terrorists in Gaza. And I'm like, no, that's the fucking good part. What are we talking about? And I think that is what's missing from this, like, in my opinion, very lukewarm conservatism. The Daily Wire would do so much better if you went harder.
Their goal is to gut the conservative movement and then turn it into a skin suit for their own perverse politics. That's the whole thing, which is why many of them are now coming out as Democrats. That unity is the thing. That unity is the thing. This is why Russia Today is the official outlet for the Kremlin.
Yeah.
Right? It is run by the Russian government.
Yeah.
Is retweeting Nick Fuentes' triumphalism today.
Absolutely. Because they hate America. Duh. And Nick Fuentes ultimately stands for a movement that is splitting America into splinters. All right? Because he's telling people to vote for Democrats, which is completely fucking retarded.
Has tweeted out, I won, after that New York Magazine piece came out, that Fuentes won. Well, I don't know. Living in your basement and streaming for 8 hours a day while jacking off to the Catboys, it's a form of winning, I said.
Bro?
All right.
Bro? When did Ben get into the weeds here? Bro's flinging shit, and I like it.
Whatever floats your boat, my dude.
I mean, look, man, objectively speaking, and this is just an objective fact, in like the entire Daily Wire, there was like 0 sex scandals. Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, all the actual like Daily Wire guys, they're just good-ass dudes. They're dudes that believe in God. They have a strong faith. They have wives and children, and no infinite degeneracy, and it's honestly insane. And when you look at like the overall retard position, it's like just degenerate gambling and pimping and OnlyFans, and he is so right about that. That is a fact.
You might call the Russia Today Fuentes get-together an online Molotov-Ribbentrop pact. Well, it's also why the Washington Post is happy to quote Candace Owens, the ranting bag lady of the internet, to explain that the Daily Wire's numbers are down.
I almost spit out my coffee. True, the ranting bag lady, bro.
Again, that alliance between the left and the woke right is totally real, and it's active. This is why they are getting together to formulate stories. It is why they are repeating the same talking points. Now, Candace says that the Daily Wire's numbers are down because people don't want to be lectured. And this is the teenage point of view from Candace and Megan and Tucker. They're all saying the same thing. They don't want to be lectured. Don't lecture me. Megan tweeted in March 2026.
You're going to interrupt a black woman speaking? Not over my dead body.
You're the coward, Ben, and your moral preening, priggish lectures and holier-than-thou judgments are the reason you are losing fans, and more than that, friends, at a record rate.
Wow.
All these people are on the same script. They're all on the same script. And also, because as people who traffic in crap for sweet, sweet lucre, they would love to be spared the lecture. They don't want to be lectured as they grift. So they're going to do the same thing that, a 13-year-old boy would do if caught doing naughty things on his iPad. They don't want to be lectured. Don't you lecture me. Well, it turns out sometimes in life, people need lectures in decent...
Oh, my God. Oh, man. He is doubling down. He's like, it's unpopular to lecture you, but sometimes you deserve a spanky anyway. I respect that, bro.
See, in reason and in truth.
Shit.
People who smear the wives of murdered men or cover for people who smear for the wives of murdered men.
Yeah.
Those people deserve lectures. Maybe the people who revive Nazi propaganda.
God.
Maybe the people who have a weird interest in the non-existent testicles of the spouses of French politicians.
Damn, bro.
Or maybe the people who make a cause with actual Nazi stands. Maybe those people deserve lectures. Maybe the people who are repeating talking points from Hassan Piker and mimicking the propaganda of Vladimir Putin. Or people who just randomly start cursing so much and are hanging out with the Groyper adjacent and embracing Islam. Maybe those people deserve lectures. I don't know.
Bro's kind of cooking.
Listen, there's always a big YouTube audience for that sort of crap.
True.
But let's be real. There's a massive online audience for pornography as well. People addicted to both deserve a bit of a lecture. But let's get back to the central issue.
That was a crazy rant, and he was just fucking fire. I'm not gonna lie. Bro was cooking.
The point of
I respect the fact that people are like, people don't like listening to you because you're condescending. Now allow me to condescendingly explain to you why you're wrong. Yes. The double down. He knows it's over, and he doesn't care.
Attacks on the Daily Wire is, of course, not just to attack the Daily Wire. It's to destroy traditional conservatism. That's the whole thing, the entire thing, all of it, every bit of it. That's the whole thing. The reason they are coming after the Daily Wire is because they want to come after you. They want to come after traditional conservatives who believe traditionally conservative things. It is no coincidence that at the same time, the Washington Post and New York Magazine and all the rest of these legacy left publications are attacking the Daily Wire. They're also writing strange new respect features on Neg Fuentes and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson.
True.
The left wants those people to win.
True.
By the way, they're not hiding it very well.
No, that's completely true. They support Thomas Massey because he backstabbed Trump, and they'll support Tucker Carlson because he backstabbed Trump. They'll support Nick Fuentes. They do that thing. They constantly. That's true, by the way. He's completely right. And Fox News does it with Hassan Piker, by the way. Hassan Piker is a radical jihadi terrorist supporter. So, you know, Fox News is like, look at the new leftist darling, Hassan Piker. It's the same idea. It's literally the classic strategy. Yeah, he's right, though. It is happening.
New York Magazine's piece says, quote, like the Rockefeller Republican of yore, the Shapiro Republican could go extinct entirely. That's what they want. Right? They want traditional normie Republicans to go away.
True.
That's what they want.
Yes.
That's what they hope for.
He's right.
And listen, maybe it will turn out that all these people who hate...
And they will, by the way. And they'll become a much more radical form than ever before. They will become Super Saiyan. Much like your Keepa gets bigger and bigger in size every video, so too my Super Saiyan hair will unlock. And the reality is very simple. We are gonna win. And I don't mean we as in me against you, Ben Shapiro, on a personal level. I have nothing against Ben Shapiro on a personal level. I mean we as in young men that are fucking tired of getting raped by our global overlords. There is an affordability issue in the country, ultimately, and free markets are good, and I fully support them, by the way, but one of the major points that we need for our country is mass deportations, and I really don't see a lot of advocating for stuff like that. You know, if we deport 30 million people, all of a sudden we'll have a lot more we'll have a lot more houses that are open for anyone to buy, all right, and all of a sudden prices are going to go down because sellers are going to want to sell the houses, and well, there's just so much supply and not nearly as much demand. I agree with the idea that the old school don't tread on me conservatism is dying, but that's because it's evolving into now we're gonna fucking tread on you. Old school conservatism was like, all cultures are equal, it's all about meritocracy. Modern conservatism, and what it's becoming is, no, actually some cultures are fucking worse, and actually, yes, I understand that importing 1 million Indians would be very beneficial to the top companies that are employing them for slave labor rates, but actually, we don't fucking care about that. We are going to stop that from happening because we care about our country and we care about our culture. I think he kind of doesn't want to address things like that because it almost gives credence to the critics. What he's saying in regards to like Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, and all those fuckers, he's completely right about. Don't get me wrong. There is absolutely a subset of the right that's just working to destroy our nation and latch on to the very, very legitimate gripes and criticisms of mostly young men in our country and contort them, which is why if you want to win, you need to step up and evolve.
Conservatism and what I consider to be traditional American principles, maybe they're right. Maybe it'll turn out that the future of the right, perverted by the algorithmic insanity of the internet, is sloppulism. You know, the Tucker-style grievance conspiracism, complete with the night-scratching demons. Or Candace...
See, but Tucker is a demoralization agent. He's just radically pro-Islam in every possible way. He does address actual complaints of the American people. He does nothing to ever solve them. He just complains, bitches, and moans and talk about how, well, you don't like the idea that you can't get married if you're a young man? And he's right, by the way. There is a major issue for young men. It's hard to get married. You have a lot of women that are getting churned out from colleges, turning them into, like, emotional diarrhea, drug-addicted retards. It's really hard for young men to actually find a virtuous woman. And he's like, oh, well, in Qatar, the women are incredibly virtuous. You know, and he's like, well, you know, you make a good point. So he'll actually address the issue properly, an issue that is actually bothering Americans, and he'll respond with the solution that's actually we should just submit to Allah. But it doesn't invalidate the purpose of the question.
Owens' his usual brand of kookery, or Nick Fuentes' transgressive Nazi cosplay, or Theo Vaughn's man-child podcast illiteracy. Maybe that's where the right goes. Maybe that's what comes next. Maybe that's all facilitated by the click whoring of the Megyn Kellys of the world and justified by an appeal to audience numbers, because none of these people ever appeal to morality. They just point to their clicks.
True.
Maybe Idiocracy wasn't a satire. Maybe it was a prophetic documentary. But here's the thing from where I sit. That does not change one single thing for me. Not a single thing. See, here's the thing. I've been doing this since I was 17 years old. I started off when I was 17 years old writing a syndicated column on politics. I didn't do that because I wanted to get rich that way. That's not how you get rich.
True.
I got into politics because...
Bro, he was a Harvard lawyer, okay? He was a Harvard lawyer, and on the side, he was like, I have to do politics as well. It was not for the shekels, okay, guys?
Because I cared about the truth.
I agree,
about
though.
Saying things that...
And he has done remarkably fantastic things for the United States of America. He has fought for gun rights. You know, he went up to Pierce Morgan. He brought a copy of the Constitution to Pierce Morgan and shredded him on gun rights back in the day. You know, he got into all these transgender beefs when hysteria was on the rise and everyone was getting canceled. And he would say, you know, he would call people by the wrong pronouns on purpose, trigger a reaction, get 1 billion views on that shit. And you know what? It was necessary. It was necessary, and it was pivotal for where we are now. And I am grateful for it. Absolutely.
I believe to be eternal and true because I care about the ideas of conservatism. It's why I've done that for all these years. I care about free markets, and I care about private property, and I care about equal rights before the law, and checks and balances, and the Constitution. I care about all of those things. I care about the America that the founders promised us, and the America that our parents and...
Yeah, well, that was a republic, not a democracy. I don't see you advocating for the abolishment of universal suffrage, though. That would be fucking awesome. If you went out there and you made a video titled, Why Women Deserve Less, you would win me. I'm kidding. That was a joke. I'm joking. Kidding, YouTube overlord. I'm joking.
Grandparents fought and worked for. And I'm not going to lie for cash. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to tell you about the wonders of Moscow supermarkets or the glories of Sharia law in Qatar. I'm not going to pander for clicks by pretending that Erica Kirk might have been complicit in Charlie Kirk's murder.
Totally right about
or
this.
That perverse and malicious questions about TPUSA's cover-up
totally
are somehow
right.
A bizarre form of investigative journalism. I'm not going to wink and nod at the transgressiveness of the Nazi incels or chuckle along with people who pretend that a conspiratorial elite are the reason your life isn't everything that you want it to be. In the freest and most prosperous country in world history, I'm going to be grateful for America, and I'm going to point out what's great about America and what our principles are. I'm not going to do any of that other stuff. Because here's the thing, I got into this business to do precisely the opposite. I haven't changed my principles. I've been doing this for 25 years. I have not changed.
Well, I mean, he was like a radical never Trumper, and now he's like super pro-Trump. But I guess that wasn't a principle change. That was just kind of... I guess he misunderstood who Trump was. Again, I think he just sucks up to the institution a little too much. That's one of my complaints. He's just very, they said COVID masks. Oh, they said lockdown. They said vaccine. They said Trump was bad. No Trump. You know, and now Trump, yes, Trump. Now Trump, yes, Trump. Fox News likes Trump now, so I like Trump now.
My principles. Now, there's a question that I get a lot these days, a lot. You know, from friends, from family. People will come up and they'll say, what happened to all these people? Yeah, they understand New York Magazine and Washington Post and what they are, but what happened to, Candace Owens or Tucker Carlson or Megyn Kelly and all the rest? And I don't know the answer because I'm not a psychiatrist. But here's what I do know. Nobody has ever asked that question about me. No.
Mic drop. Complete and utter mic drop. He's right. You know who else no one asks that about? Nick Fuentes, because he's also been consistent, which is why I want to see you guys debate. I would love it if you guys debated. But yeah, no, he's completely right about this.
No one, because my worldview has not changed. It has not changed. My principles haven't changed because I think those principles are true and good. And those principles are not going to change. So, in the end, take it or leave it. If people decide they don't want to hear it, it's a free country. That's their choice. But I am willing to bet my future and the future of America that more Americans agree with me than agree with the people who want to destroy the Daily Wire. I'm betting there are a lot more rational people in this country than conspiracy-mongering nut jobs. I'm betting that there are way more people in America who believe in truth and virtue and freedom than people who revel in grievance and demoralization and stupidity. And again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we lose. But here's the thing. That also doesn't change a thing. It doesn't change a thing. It doesn't matter. Because the only thing that matters
standing on
is the only
business
thing that has ever mattered to me. Speaking the truth, whether people like it or whether they don't. Because facts still don't care about your feelings.
That's cute. Nice ending.
This is The Ben Shapiro Show.
That was actually really good. He knows it's over, but the haters can kiss his ass, and he will stand on business. And I respect the fuck out of that. I really do. You know, you can call him whatever. You can't call Ben Shapiro a grifter. You can't. Damn, he really cooked. Elon Musk responded, most podcasts are listened on 2x speed, but Ben is only 1.5x speed. That's our guy. That's our guy. Yeah, even Asmongold, who doesn't like him, actually said he reacts to Ben Shapiro cooking, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and Megyn Kelly. Is he wrong? I like Nick, but the other ones he's kind of right about. Yeah, no, it's honestly insane. And I'll be real. If Ben Shapiro would act a little less robotic, I think he would actually take it back. If he actually woke up and he was like, you know what? I am going to actually address the issues and not just sweep it under the rug as neo-Nazi conspiracy. If he would debate Nick Fuentes and he would be a little more radical in regards to following the American dream, this dude would kill it. But I respect the fuck out of it. He could have ignored it. He didn't need to talk about it, but he did anyway. And he knows it's going to bring a deluge of hate and shit. 5.5 million views on this Twitter post. All right. Maybe I'm more of an optimist, but I do think that we are moving into a new era of conservatism in America. And I also don't believe it's falling for the infinite grift conspiracy talking point thing that he keeps addressing. I think we're moving to an era where people are just really tired of getting raped by previous generations that have destroyed our culture and country. I think we're going to be seeing a return to traditionalism, if anything. People actually standing up for biblical values the way no one has before. There is an absolute astronomical increase in people returning to their faiths in the entire young generations. Whether it's Judaism or Christianity, you see so many people in all of these communities becoming more religious. You see what non-religious morality, non-God-based morality gets you, and that's the far left, just advocating for the assassination of political figures and celebrating their wives' and widows' miseries. Yeah, it's not going to be easy to clean up the shit that the previous generations of limp-dicked conservatives put us in, but we're going to do it. We will be deporting all these people. We will be building a wall. We will embrace our culture and our heritage, and we will not water it down with infinite retards from the third world because, hey, free markets, let's employ a bajillion Indians, because why should we pay an American if we could just bring in an Indian? And I have nothing against the Indian people. I want them to make India great again. Or, you know, make India great. Let's just say it that way. But we are so fucking back. So you either need to buckle up, get on the ride, or you're going to get left behind. Now, it has been so long, we have to talk about the Jews. So Tyler Oliveira allegedly denied entry into Israel. All right, so this is Tyler Oliveira on an El Al plane to Israel. Everything seems to be going smoothly. They caught him in the airport. They took nice pictures of him. That's Tyler in Israel. Time to expose some shit, and it's going to be crazy. And allegedly, he was denied entry. That was actually confirmed by Tyler. I was banned from Israel and deported back to America for anti-Semitic content. Tyler Oliveira banned from Israel, bro. Oh boy, bro was going to kiss the wall and it just didn't. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm kidding. So that's pretty crazy. And I got a lot of people asking for my take on it. Well, first, Legal Mindset, a YouTube lawyer and a friend of mine, says it appears that this has been publicly confirmed by Israeli officials. It's always a good reminder that traveling to a country, particularly as a tourist, is a privilege, not a right. If an influencer's behavior is borderline questionable, expect more countries to deny entry. Now, this is going to be a really nuclear take. But the guy who makes content all the time about how different countries should not be letting people into their countries because they make their countries worse, refused to let him into their country to make a video probably criticizing something about Israel, probably. Now, that said, I wanted him to get into Israel. I did not want him to get stopped. I wanted him to get in and make a video because I've been to Israel many times, and Israel's a pretty beautiful place, honestly. The people are great. The food is great. The history, the archaeology, that's all awesome. You know, very traditional values in many of the different cities. Very low crime rate aside from the, rare exploding Arab that happens every once in a while. Bro should have bribed the border security with a couple of bagels. Maybe he would have gotten in. But honestly, I'm personally disappointed I wanted to be let in. However, that said, it is fucking hilarious. It is hilarious that the guy who basically all of his content is about how you should not be letting people into your countries if they're going to make a ruckus, and then he was denied entry into the country for potentially making a ruckus. Absolute cinema. I'm not going to sit here and make believe that's just not funny as fuck. So he got really mad, and he made a video on it. Now, I like Tyler Oliveira. I do, for the most part. I really like his videos. I think some of them are better than others. I think every group of people you should be criticizing them. We should be making our country as awesome as possible. We should be exposing all sorts of fraud. Now, the thing is, in his videos about the Jews, I think part of the reason why people were upset with him is because he titled it like the Jewish invasion of New Jersey. And it's like, Jews have been in New Jersey for like 300 years, bro. And he didn't end up exposing any fraud. He actually just ended up exposing people abusing the welfare system, which I don't like and I don't support. But like he would interview someone with like 7 kids and be like, yeah, I have 7 kids because I can get great welfare from the government. And he's like, but then that means taxpayers are paying for your shit. And they're like, yep, that's the law, I guess. Oh, well. Now, I don't support that. I don't like that. I do believe from the sweat of your brow shall you eat bread. That is what it says in Genesis. All right, you should work for a living. I don't like the welfare state, but it's not fraud. So a lot of people are very mad at him. They're calling him an anti-Semite, and I really hate that too. You know, it just sucks on all sides because I feel like the conversation is so bad faith. I don't think he's an anti-Semite for criticizing Jews or practices in different areas. Like on the one hand, I wanted him to get into Israel to do a video on Israel, but on the other hand, based Israel for not letting someone into the country. If they thought he was gonna, stir shit up. Based, actually. I think all countries should be doing that. Yeah, Israel border laws are actually awesome. Unfortunately, on the internet, you're not allowed to have nuanced stances on anything. You're just going to get shredded from every side. And no, I'm sure I'm going to see some Jews upset at me for saying, but he's an anti-Semite. And I don't think he is. And I'm sure I'm going to see some, anti-Israel people being like, what's Israel trying to hide? I don't know. They have border security. This is new. Tyler Oliveira makes negative videos on literally every single place he visits. All right? Don't get me wrong. So no, I don't think it's, anti-Semitism, but also at the same time, I get why Israel didn't want to let him in. Based, actually, that they have a border. Anyway, expect shrieking in the comment section, but let's see what he had to say.
I just got banned from Israel.
If you watch my content, then you must expect the nuanced take. It doesn't always make everyone happy, but it is the most honest. All right, let's go.
Upon arrival and deported back to America for anti-Semitic or anti-Israel content.
Well, I don't think he's anti-Semitic personally, even though, I think the packaging of the videos calling it like a Jewish invasion is bad. But based, border security, let's go.
I flew out of New Jersey on an El Al flight to Tel Aviv on a plane with basically all Jews and had plenty of pleasant
I wonder why there were so many Jews on the plane to Israel. Do Jews control the flights to Israel?
Conversations and positive interactions on my way there. Believe it.
Look, I know Jews in real life. This might be a shock to you. And I don't think I know anyone that hates Tyler Oliveira. They're like, yeah, the packaging of those videos were bad, obviously. But I don't think anyone actually hates this guy. I think it's just fringe, loud voices online that are calling him an anti-Semite. And it sucks. It sucks. It's like the leftists calling everything racist and white supremacy. It's like the loud, woke Jews screaming about anti-Semitism.
Believe it or not, a lot of Jews were excited for me to visit their country.
I was excited to see him there, man. I wanted to see the video of him going out there, or whatever the fuck he was gonna do. Exposing Hasidic Jews for wearing gigantic furry hats in the middle of the fucking summer where it's boiling hot. Something like that. Exposing American politicians kissing the wall. Why are they kissing the wall? What does it taste like?
We had it, boys. We're headed to Tel Aviv, baby.
You see, that's what I mean. No one actually hates this guy. It's only fringe online voices.
Yes, sir.
But of course, I was being tracked the entire time, and photos of me circulated in Jewish WhatsApp groups as I was
What can I say? The Jews are organized.
Asleep in the middle seat of the back of the plane.
Oh, it sucks, bro.
12 hours.
Honestly, that's worse than getting deported. The LL seats, by the way, all right, I'm gonna spill all this Jewish knowledge on you. The LL seats are slightly narrower than the average seats on like American airline planes. All right, I think it's because they're trying to squeeze a couple extra shekels out of you by squeezing in some extra seats. But those seats fucking suck. The LL seats are bad. All right, I'm just being honest here.
Middle seat later, I land in Israel and my passport scan says to go find an agent.
All right.
I'm then brought to the back office where my interrogation begins.
That's rough.
I tell him I'm here to enjoy the beaches of Tel Aviv.
No, you're not. So you lied. You were there to make a documentary of some sort. I'm not criticizing you. You have every right to do that, sure. But you weren't there to enjoy the beaches.
See some holy sites and maybe do some street interviews asking some of the world's oldest questions.
That's fair. Like, why were the Jews kicked out of so many countries?
And asks if I'm
old
here to
questions.
provoke Jews, if I'm hiding anything, if I'm anti-Semitic. I tell him no, obviously. The agent then goes like, you can just be honest. This is Israel.
What the fuck Italian accent was that? What are you doing?
As if I said, yeah, I'm anti-Semitic, that would...
They actually said, you can be honest. Honesty is best policy here in Israel. Israel honesty is very nice. Would you like bagel with cream cheese, maybe?
Somehow go over well upon arriving to Israel. But I tell him, no, I'm not. I don't hate anyone, and I don't. He proceeds to watch my videos about the Hasidic Jewish communities and
You see... But like, for example, he titled this video, and I think this is why he gets so much shit for it. Inside the New York town invaded by welfare-addicted Jews. For the record, this is a New York town built by welfare-addicted Jews. Kiryas Joel is in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, upstate New York, built by these Hasidic Jews. Right? It wasn't invaded by the Jews. It was literally built by them. It was nothing before the Jews went and built a little city there. Just to understand context. Right? So I think people see a title like this and immediately crash out.
Upstate New York.
Even though I think the content in that video was fine.
New Jersey.
Right, and also Jewish invasion. It's like, but they were there for 300 years. Jews were in New Jersey for 300 years. Is that really an invasion? So again, I think that is where so much of the shit comes from. Now, it's YouTube. You gotta clickbait to survive. You gotta make a title that sounds good. All right, you can't make a video titled, I spoke to a couple of Jews in New Jersey. No one fucking cares. But if you expose the Jewish invasion, people are going to click on your videos. And I get the clickbait grind. I absolutely do. But that, I think, is a lot of why he gets so much shit.
Where I examine how they use welfare to afford 7 to 10 kids. I try to...
Again, not fraud. However, I think it sucks. And that's why I think we need to abolish welfare entirely. I hate welfare. I hate that welfare goes to people that could get a job. All right, I am tired of my taxes going to these people. I'm way too Jewish to have my tax dollars go to the Jews, okay? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm tired of it. And now, again, the funny thing is, it's like, would you rather a community of Jews on welfare, it's true, which I don't like, but a community of Jews on welfare with zero crime, with zero drugs, with conservative values, or would you prefer a, let's say, ghetto in the Bronx, also on welfare, 1,000 times the size of Kiryas Joel, but yes drugs, yes killing, single family households, gigantic prison populations, riots and mayhem. Like, let's be honest, they're both on welfare and they're very different.
Explain the nature of the videos, and he eventually tells me to go sit down while they deliberate my fate. About 30 minutes later, he tells me...
Got like 4 old Jews there deliberating what they're going to do with Tyler Oliveira.
Me to come back in the room and states that he's spoken to his higher-ups and that I've been denied entry into Israel due to anti-Semitic or anti-Israel content.
Bro, you know that they just went on Twitter and they looked him up and they saw some loud Jew calling him an anti-Semite. They're like, okay, you got to go. Now, I'm gonna be really hard here when I say that based border security. Why the fuck would you let someone in if you don't know? Right? They don't know if he's anti-Semitic or not. Why would they take the chance? Why would they take the chance? Let's go. Country with borders. You love to see it.
I'm then handed a paper that I have to sign, which falsely claims that I've attempted to illegally immigrate to Israel.
That's crazy. Bro, that had to be like a translation, right?
Which is obviously bullshit, and I assume was done...
So why'd you sign it?
To prevent me from re-entering Israel for as long as legally possible.
Wait, so why'd you sign it? You should have said I'm not trying to enter Israel.
Despite him telling me the real reason was due to anti-Semitic content. In fact, I checked Twitter and see that Israel's Minister of Diaspora and Combating Anti-Semitism is retweeting an Israeli news article that claims Tyler Oliveira, the Jew-hating YouTuber, is expelled from Israeli border on the orders of the Israeli minister.
Damn.
The fuck? He then quotes, I'm proud to have denied entry to Israel today to an unfortunate YouTuber who is using the...
Bro, was that Laura Loomer that he blurred out? Bro, why is she fucking everywhere, bro?
Harassment of Jews as a way to get clout on social media. Furthermore, let this be a lesson to all Jew haters and supporters of BDS.
Now, by the way, I think deporting people that you think are going to stir up a ruckus in your country is fucking awesome. But I don't think Tyler Oliveira is like an anti-Semite.
Whatever that means. Now, for a second, imagine if me criticizing welfare use in black communities in America somehow got me banned from countries in Africa.
But they won't do that because they fucking love if you came to Africa. Are you kidding me? In your wallet, you have more money than the GDP of the Congo, okay? What are we talking about?
Or the welfare users in Appalachia somehow got me banned from Europe. This exception only seems to exist when it's regarding Jews. Yeah. So I tell the agent, man, it's a shame I can't visit the biggest democracy in the Middle East. And he goes, well, maybe you can visit Afghanistan.
Brutal.
They confiscate my passport, take me to a brief holding room with a bunch of Filipinos, and then tell me I have a flight out at midnight, which is like 8 hours later. Now, it's clear to me at this point that the unspoken strategy is they want the accusations of anti-Semitism they hurl at people like me to eventually become true, to then justify their very accusations.
That's a crazy thought process. I just think that they didn't want to chance it. You know, like they're in the middle of a war right now. I know technically we're in the middle of a war too, but we're in the middle of a war across the world. They're in the middle of a war where people in northern Israel are still running into their bunkers many times because Hezbollah is still firing rockets at them. You know, Trump literally just announced that he is planning on starting things up again when it comes to Iran, like next week. All right, breaking, Trump is preparing for another round of strikes in Iran. All right, which means that they're going to start striking Israel. You know, Hamas is currently rearming in Gaza, by the way. All right, and they are doing their best. This is happening in Gaza right now. You know, adults and children both. Right, so it's a busy country, all things considered. And if they have strong immigration policies, I get it, actually. You know, I think that's more likely than trying to turn you into an anti-Semite to validate their concerns later.
But
I just think Israel fucking sucks at PR.
Problem is, there is no hatred in my heart, only a resolve to see things as they are.
I actually believe that. See, I don't think the Israeli ministers believe that, but hey, they didn't call this guy to ask my opinion. They spoke to Laura Loomer. And according to Laura Loomer, everyone's a terrorist, okay? All right, so in my opinion, I don't think he's an anti-Semite.
To try to answer this, why am I, as an American, not allowed to question my fellow Americans who happen to be Jewish and how our collective tax dollars are being spent?
You have every right to question them. No one's telling you you're not allowed to question them. No one's telling you you're not allowed to make these videos. Literally no one. 0 people are telling you that. That doesn't mean that another country needs to require your entry, needs to allow you to enter their country. I don't understand what the problem is.
America. And why, if my videos happen to involve Jewish people, am I now labeled a Jew-hating anti-Semite while our great...
Dude, if we had Hassan Piker deported from America, I would celebrate. And he would be like, but why? I'm only just talking about American policy. Yeah, but he also supports terrorism and hates America. All right, so again, I don't think that Tyler Oliveira is like a Hassan Piker. I've been standing up for the guy. I don't think he's an anti-Semite at all. But from the perspective of Israel, that's seeing Laura Loomer crashing out on Twitter, who for some reason is a high up in the American government and has the ear of like every American politician on the planet somehow. And she has done some pretty good investigative journalism, I'm not going to lie, but she crashes out on everything. They're going to see her calling him some violent anti-Semite guy. They're just not going to chance it. You know, and I get that from the perspective of a foreign country. If there was a Muslim guy in Pakistan who's crashing out and screaming about America every single day, America bad, America evil, America's genocidal, I hate Americans so fucking much, and then they want to come to America, I fucking hope America turns them away at the border. It's their right to question America, it's their right to hate America, but it doesn't mean we need to let them come in, you know?
Greatest ally, Israel, that is the single largest recipient of American foreign aid in our history, then deport...
I am against foreign aid, by the way. I feel like I need to repeat this all the time, because I saw some guy make an entire video saying that Nux is trying to give all American money to Israel. Yeah, no, I'm against all foreign aid. I'm way too Jewish to be giving money to Israel.
It's me. While their government officials publicly paint a target on my back while I'm still in their country. Adjusting for inflation, U.S. aid to Israel from 1951 to 2022 totaled $317 billion.
That's a lot of dollars. That's still less than what our funding was for the Ukraine war, by the way. And unlike the Ukraine war, where we got fucking nothing out of it, $350 billion for fucking jack all, you know, again, I'm against foreign aid. I don't want to be giving infinite money to other countries, including Israel. But ultimately, we gained a lot from Israel. They battle-tested our weapons. We have their tech. We're building the Golden Dome, which is built off their technology, the Iron Dome. We use their technology in our military and in our hospitals and in our cell phones. They're basically our attack dog in the Middle East. They do whatever we want. Trump tells them, stop the war, they stop. Start the war, they start. We gained tremendously from their intelligence. We thwarted 3 Iranian assassination attempts against Donald Trump, largely because of Mossad intelligence. Now, again, I want to make this clear. I am against foreign aid, but the idea that we get nothing in return, and that it's the #1 biggest outlet of our money disappearing is insane. 5 years worth of our foreign aid to Israel was lost to Somalia in Minnesota. We spend $60 billion a year on NATO, where we get literally zero out of that alliance. All right, just to be clear, zero, $60 billion a year. And again, I am against foreign aid to Israel too. I am America first. I believe we need to be using our money on American shit. But we gain a lot out of the Israeli alliance. We do, objectively. Not enough to pay for all of it, but definitely more than NATO.
Largest recipient of American foreign aid since World War II. But fun fact, we don't even have a formal mutual defense treaty with Israel. Yes.
That's fucking awesome, by the way.
Our greatest ally is not even technically our ally. For perspective, the U.S. has formal mutual...
Wait, you want a formal mutual defense arrangement so every time some Arab country attacks Israel, we are forced to go to war to defend Israel? Like, are you serious? Like, again, I feel like these people just say things sometimes. Like, what do you even mean? You want a formal defense agreement so if Hamas attacks Israel, we need to send the U.S. military to Gaza? And every time Lebanon attacks Israel, we need to send the U.S. military to Lebanon? What are we even talking? Every time the Houthis attack Israel, we need to send the U.S. military to Yemen? Are you serious?
Defense treaties with all 32 NATO members, Japan,
which is a waste of money,
South Korea, Australia, New Zealand, the Philippines, Thailand. And these treaties legally obligate the U.S. to come to their defense.
Doesn't that suck? Man, I would hate to have I hate those treaties. We're just spending money for what? I don't like those treaties at all. Sure, it's nice that we have, like, in writing that we're friends and buddies, but, like, why should we be spending money on their defense? Let's be honest.
If attacked and vice versa. The obligation...
Oh, yeah, vice versa. Yeah, Australia is going to help us if we're attacked by Russia. Are you serious?
A two-way street, but not with Israel. In summary, we've given Israel over $300 billion in
way too much
aid.
He's right.
UN resolutions to shield them from international law all the time.
I mean, they vote for UN resolutions to shield us too, by the way.
We provide them with the most advanced weapons on Earth.
And vice versa. And they provide us with most advanced weapons on Earth too.
American troops die in conflicts to uphold Israeli interests.
There is zero evidence for this. This is actually just not true. We have never gone to war for Israel. This is a common talking point that I see all the time, and it is not true. Everyone points to the Iraq War. Israel was against the Iraq War. We went to war with Iraq because CIA and MI6 from England had testimony that Iraq was building weapons of mass destruction. And we went in this destructive, infinite, horrible war in Iraq. And you know what? It was kind of pointless. And also, Israel was against it. Israel at the time said, I do not want you to go to war with Iraq. Iran is the enemy. They said this 20 years ago, man. Bro, it's like tiring listening to this every time. It's not true. Bro, like, let me try to see if I can find the article for you. So here's an article from 09, 01, 07. All right, Israel warned U.S. against Iraq invasion. Oh, sorry, Israel warned us against Iraq invasion, U.S. official says. All right, Chief of Staff, former Secretary of State reveals that a large number of senior Israeli officials warned Bush administration that the invasion of Iraq would be destabilizing to the region. The Israelis were telling us Iraq is not the enemy, Iran is the enemy, he says. Well, the Israelis were right, actually. You know, it's crazy, bro. I don't know where this shit comes from.
All without a formal obligation for Israel to defend the U.S. No treaty, no legitimate alliance, no defense commitment. So, they'll take our money, they'll let our soldiers die to eliminate existential threats to...
Again, we have not gone to war for Israel ever, all right? There is zero evidence that we have ever gone to any war for Israel, period. That's just true. That's just, I don't even know what to say. However, yeah, we spend way too much money on them. Absolutely, we have to stop giving them money.
Israel... But I'm the second coming of Hitler if I get on a plane to visit...
Oh, chill out. All those Filipinos that were getting deported with you were also the second coming of Hitler. Chill out, man. You're not that... No.
The country that's the largest recipient of foreign aid that my tax dollars go towards. I get deported and called a Jew hater by Israeli officials for what?
See, I actually think he's right about this. They should not be calling him a Jew hater. That's disgusting. It really is. Like, I'm so tired of the whole, like, calling people racists and anti-Semites and shit like that. That's gross. That really is.
Looking for the truth? Is that illegal in Israel, the biggest democracy in the Middle East?
No, but it's not your right to enter a foreign country. If they think for some reason you will be violent or whatever.
I've refrained from exploring this topic to the degree in which it deserves because I wanted to first report on important topics, boots on the ground in Israel, before I was inevitably banned. But now, there's nothing to lose. I'm effectively perma-banned from entering. I think it's time we examine how a small country of about 10 million people seemingly exert more control of American foreign policy than any other country on Earth.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see his deep dives on how Israel controls America, because I've seen a lot of them so far, a lot of deep dives on that, and zero evidence is presented in like almost any of them. For anyone that actually cares about geopolitics, we control Israel, and that is why we give them so much fucking money. Way too much money, but that's why we give them money, because we control Israel. Anyone that thinks Israel controls us probably listens to a couple of podcasts but didn't do the research. So I am excited for Tyler Oliveira to do the research. I am excited for him to actually do some digging and find out that actually that's bullshit. We are America, the greatest country on the planet. We are not controlled by 10 million people in the Middle East. Sand New Jersey isn't making our actual political stances and creating our institutions. For those of you that need a refresher, the Israeli lobby, I'm against all foreign lobbying, by the way, including Israel also, but the Israeli lobby paid about $100 million during the last election cycle. Qatar spent $250 million. Saudi Arabia spent $250 million. Japan spent $400 million. China spent $500 million. Big Pharma spent $500 million. All right, so like the reality is really simple. Lobbying sucks. Our government is corrupt. And if you think 10 million Jews that are constantly at war in Sand, New Jersey, are controlling the greatest, most powerful nation on the planet, you might have fell for the psyop. That said, I don't want to send any hate to Tyler Oliveira. I really like him. I feel like he's jaded because he's being called a Jew hater by the government of Israel. And I don't think he is one. I do support Israel's right to deport people. I would support England to stop small boats of rapists coming into their country. Not to equate Tyler Oliveira to Pakistani rape gangs. But yeah, I actually think it's awesome for different countries to actually uphold their sovereignty. I wish more countries would do it. I wish our country would do it. Anyway, that was my very nuanced opinion. I'm sure a lot of people will tear me to shreds because I wasn't radical enough on either side, but the reality is sometimes shit's gray. Yep, that's where we're at. Damn, can we go one episode without needing to talk about the Jews? Bro, I'm getting Jew fatigue over here. It's brutal. I need to start putting sponsors in every single video where I talk about the Jews. We ain't never beaten those stereotypes. Oh my God. Anyway, that was today's deep dive on all of the things. Tyler Oliveira deported, Ben Shapiro crash out, Hassad Piker cooked. The United Kingdom is actually falling apart. Finally, the British government is getting restored to its former glory, and the Donald keeps racking up W's. Thanks for joining me. I hope my nuanced opinions tickled your fancy. I know. It's always easier to just pick topics where you could just be completely radical and justified on one side, but I like taking every once in a while a very nuanced stance, and I'm very grateful that my audience actually is kind of Giga-based. You guys are fucking great. I love you. I really appreciate you. I read the comments, and I take risks, I guess, career-wise, but I really don't care. You know what you get into when you watch my videos. You will get raw, unfiltered Nux. You could like it, you could hate it, you could agree, you could disagree, but you will get the truth. You won't get grift. I'm not getting paid off by anyone. I'm just doing my thing, trying to survive out here. Making lots of enemies, but I'm really grateful for you. All right, so definitely lock in, and I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe. Bye.